which was group inspiration. And so
Ooh.
if something bad happened, they could reach in and use it as a reroll. They were doing Death House, which I don't know if you've done Death House or not, but it's can be very deadly.
I remember.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Well, I mean, the only thing about inspiration is you can't use it to re-roll. You must predict it. You have to use it before you roll.
Yeah.
It's not a luck point.
I know,
It's
but they were using it like
sure.
luck points. I mean, they were
Oh,
just,
oh.
it was like the only reason this group survived is because they had 300 D20 to do rerolls. Otherwise, they
That
would have just been
sucks.
destroyed.
I guess it's a nice way to save a TPK, but again, I, I don't. I would not want the audience to run the show. That would
That's what I'm
be
going to say. But
that would
but
go south
again,
very
I
quickly.
wish to have the TPK. So
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. It'd
I
be
like
like,
death. Death is dramatic.
of course, we could do a whole Spock thing. Back in the day when they were trying to decide the fate of Spock for Wrath of Khan,
mhm.
they actually had people vote. Do we kill him or not?
Oh wow, that was
Hmm.
before the internet too. How'd they tally that? How'd they get the
So
information in? They
They
use
Carefully.
picked to kill him.
pigeons? What the hell?
We actually had the little rotary, your finger that hurt after you dialed numbers a
Right.
couple of
Yeah,
times.
you had
And
to
if you miss
physically dial it.
and if you
Uh-huh.
miss one number, you're like, cut right.
Yep.
Dial 1-800 Die Spock Die. Cast your vote.
Or, oh look, we're going. Speaking of space, uh, are we in space?
I don't know.
Oh,
I thought
Coward's here. We
I
can
thought
get
it looked like embers.
embers. It does. That's what
Yeah,
I meant.
from a
It looks like
volcano.
embers. Hi, Coward. Well, Coward's here. We can officially get started.
Yep.
Oh, more secret info about Coward. I'm going to add that to my board.
That's nice.
That's more secret info about Cowart. Oh, I see. I see. Revealing things to the internet. Good idea.
Yep.
That's always a good idea.
Yeah.
If you could just tell me your mother's maiden name, first pet,
Yeah.
Security, whatever you want.
Favorite
Yeah.
shoe
password?
size, greatest fears, whatever.
What street did you grow up on?
Which
Bitcoin
digit
wallet.
is your favorite from your credit card?
Your favorite.
I started playing Elder Scrolls Online again. I hadn't played it since like 2018, which it was good then, but it wasn't quite what it is today. And I'm playing it like it's Skyrim versus like a WoW game or whatever. And man, they have just knocked it out of the park as far as the stories that they tell. Like there's not. I've done I don't know 150 quests, let's say. I haven't done a single quest. The guy goes, "I hate pigs. Go kill 10 of them," and there was nothing like that. Every single thing that you do. So you go to a region, and the region may have a major town, and then all the other stuff in there. Everything that you do in the region relates to the entire story of the region, even if it's just a throwaway, like just reinforcing the fact that like these assassins are in town. That's it. Like you see, literally, there's a lost pig. You go find the pig. The pig's eating a root. The root happens to be something that grows when this unholy bunch of assassins come to town. Bam! That's just saying these assassins are here. Well, the main line was to save the king from the assassins. I mean, and every single quest is voice acted. Like it's just really, really well done. I've been enjoying the crap out of it. It's been consuming way too much of my free time, which is pretty much all I have now. Uh, so that's what I've been doing for past week, give or take.
I remember when I did the expansion that included the Skyrim location. After playing Skyrim, it was like this huge wave of nostalgia. It's like, wow, this is really good. Like I'm really in solitude. This is really, really solitude. It's
Yeah,
super cool.
yeah. The writers are fantastic. They get you really into the Daedra princes, and
Hmm.
you get to know them all. Like, and the way they do it, it's like you're not just barraged with it, but you're hit by the same name 7 different times. So you're starting to like, okay, I know who this person is now. And you go to like you got Shorogorath, the insanity guy who has like the
Hmm.
House of Cheese, and
Yep.
then you got Malgora or Mal Bolog or whatever his name is. He's newer to me, but I don't know. It's just they give you trickles of information enough to where like you generally understand what's going on with the plot. Where, like World of Warcraft, I use that because that's what the golden standard right now. It just I don't feel like there's a story. You just kind of go kill a dozen pigs and then go kill a dozen birds and maybe go to a raid. I don't know. The story is much better. Just saying.
Hmm.
Had to get that out there.
But
What
I'm,
about-
I'm gonna have to plug my house's crack is Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another thing I think ESO did really well with the houses because like you can have there's 150 houses, right? And they're just money, money, money and all this stuff. But there are also teleporters, like for free. You can go from
Uh-huh.
house to house without having to pay. And some of them are pretty big and they have done a lot to give you things to play with your house. That's not my thing. Like I don't want to play Sims when I'm playing MMO, but I know I'm not the majority. And I played Final 14. I don't like that style. I don't like the art. I just could not keep with it. I've lost my notes.
I thought it was pretty, but I wasn't able to stick with it.
Which one?
14, Final
So
Fantasy 14.
the interesting with 14 thing and the crime really is there are, I think, 5 sort of expansions if you count the original story. And the worst by far is the original story. So you've got all these people that want to play the game and right out of the bat, right out of the gate, you're playing the worst part of the game. Because once you make it past and if you read reviews, everyone that likes the game says the same thing. Slog through the first part, it gets much better.
What's
And go
What's
ahead.
considered the first part? What's that mean?
So there are multiple story segments, if you will, and the very first one is called A Realm Reborn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. A Realm Reborn is by far the worst story. By far.
Ever.
Yes, it's terrible. And well, it's not quite terrible, but it's not it is in many cases unfun. That is if you purchase a boost to get through the first part and start with Heaven's Ward,
Hmm.
you miss some critical pieces of the story.
Oh.
And there's some pretty significant critical pieces of the story that you do not play through. So other things later on make a lot less sense.
Okay.
So you can do that. So for instance, I played through Heaven's or Realm Reborn. My wife did not. And so later on, when we encounter certain things, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's where that came from, and this came from, and this is where this person is, and that's their story. And she's like, I don't remember any of that. It's like, well, it's because you skipped it.
So storytelling pretty well done in
It's
14.
fantastic. It's
Yeah.
it's probably the best story. Period.
Well, when I
It's
beat
really good.
ESO, I might join that.
It is. It is. I mean, if you play a game for the story is fantastic.
Well, that's all I really intend on doing in ESO is just going through all the quests. And I know there's like, I don't know, months and months worth of playtime of quests, which is great. To me, it's like playing a 500-hour single-player game. You know, I'll jump in and the funny thing is I'm actually doing some PvP stuff, which I don't normally do, but they've made it to where even that's interesting and it helps the storyline. Like Shogorath, you meet him in a PvP zone. He's like, "Come to the House of Cheese. I want to do something." I forgot what it's actually called, but something cheese. It's something-
Cheesemongers Hollow.
Yeah, that's it. Cheesemongers Hollow. And he talks to you there, and like you get some pretty good in-game like PVE bonuses just for going through one a day, just like your daily. You just, even if you just get destroyed, it doesn't matter. Like just getting in there, doing it, spending 10 minutes, it gives you buffs outside of the game, like speed buffs and happy things like that. Anyway, I've just really been enjoying it.
Good.
When you say doing some PvP stuff, do you mean getting your butt handed to you by other players? Because that's how I normally do PvP stuff.
Come kill me.
I went online and I watched a video. I'm playing a Templar, and I watched a video on how to be better, and it was very helpful. And I'm actually a lot better, like in PvP. I'm by no means good by stretch of imagination, but versus dying 15 to 20 times per game, I've died twice and had 20 kills. I mean, like, it helped a lot. So just a little bit of knowledge went a long way. And key binding, that was, well, anyway, this isn't the MMO channel. This is the MMO show that you guys don't care about at all. So we were having some technical difficulties earlier. Are we good?
You mean with only Mike showing for a minute?
Yeah, and no
Yeah.
sound.
Yeah, that's because I went to Mike.
Cut the mic.
Yeah, cut the mic.
Don't cut me. That hurts.
You lose his fingers that way.
My feelings.
Yeah, I've changed. Obviously, I've changed things, but I've got it now so that
What?
everyone, all of our video feeds are their own individual scenes, and so I pull those scenes into a bigger scene. So when I switch to like the spinning intro or the intro music, those scenes don't include the audio channels. So when I went to Mike's scene, his input scene on my screen, I didn't do it in a way that you couldn't see it. So you couldn't hear anything because there's no audio on that scene. So my bad.
Fascinating.
I want to know, can you put OBS experience on your resume yet? Do you feel you've advanced to that level? Because you should.
When I finish doing the things that I want to do, because I found something fun. When I finish doing the thing, then I'll put OBS on my resume.
Okay.
So are we going to be at warp speed this entire episode?
I mean, we can
I'll
we
endorse
can,
you on LinkedIn.
we can do something else if you want, because I can change that pretty easily now.
Okay.
I can let's
Do
see.
you have erupting volcano?
Do I have
Asking
erupting
for a friend.
volcano? I can add an image somewhere.
This is great for the
This is-
podcast.
This is
Yeah.
going to be huge content for the audio
I
listeners.
mean, what do you want? What do you want here?
How about the original screen with maps and all that good stuff?
Oh, that I can do. That's
Okay.
easy. That's
Awesome.
a click over to. Hold on, let me find it.
That's right, Coward. You should be watching it live anyway, because the descent, the attack on Tarkalar
Ba-boom.
was a web only episode. It
It's
did
an
not go.
exclusive.
It's an exclusive for Twitch only. It did not go onto the podcast. That's how it worked out. So it's always good to watch it on Twitch because you will not miss it.
That's true.
Which comes to the next point. Let's talk about what happened when you went down into Tarkalar's cavern. You guys, so the episode before that, you went back up to town and you talked to all your resources. You talked to everybody in town. You got all kinds of gear and just got ready for a lich fight. Like you did exactly what you do when you're going to go fight a lich, and you know it. And you went down there, and the six of you, the 3 PCs and the 3 NPCs, your henchmen, had an epic big blowout fight with this minor lich. The final strike coming from Farazan when he leapt over and smashed him in the knee, took his knee out, and then crushed him in the face. And then you went and opened his chest And that's, I think, a good place to start because we stopped right there. That episode took like 2 hours and 20 minutes
Oops.
and didn't really get to check out the stuff that was in the chest. I think we mentioned it on the stream, but one of the notable things was that Tarkalar had a set of elven chain riveted into his body, and you guys had pulled that off. There was an oil of sharpness. Did you guys already write this down? I'll go through it quickly. If you didn't, we'll do it slowly.
Yes. Well, at least I did.
Oh, you've got it? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So there's oil of sharpness, nature's mantle,
Mm-hmm.
a potion of greater healing, 2 of those, a potion of heroism, an alchemy jug, which only produces mayonnaise, and a incomplete phylactery.
And his journal.
Love
And
it.
his journal.
And his journal, where it was obviously written by a madman, and it was just talking about how he was part of the Ebon Triad. He considered himself the most powerful. He had been trying to convert himself for a long time, and then he was seen by the smoking eye, which immediately changed him to this lich and also drove him insane. And you could tell by his journaling that towards the end, the more recent entries, it was just more and more, not just poorly written, like scratchings, but just disjointed thoughts, word salad and all those other psychological words. It was just hard.
Like
huh?
any blog, after a while it just becomes
It just
meaningless
blah, blah, blah.
nonsense.
Yeah. It looked like a Google, one of those Google things that helps you look up the page you want, where you just like slam just a billion different words, and if you Google it, you go to their website.
A word cloud?
Yes. Is that what that's called?
Yes.
Yep.
TIL. So you finished off Tarkalar. You also went around and you cleaned up the bodies. Took a little bit of time doing that. You threw them down in the horrifying blood pit with all the little amoeba things down there, and that's where we left off. And just before we really get going, if you haven't noticed, Rachel's back. Hi,
Hey.
Rachel.
Hello.
Hey.
I know. It's a good reintroduction.
And
I'm really confident about that.
the crowd goes
I
wild.
didn't hear the raucous applause. Rachel's back. Yes!
Hey!
Yay. There was much rejoicing.
Yay.
And as Mike said off air before we got started, we can do this now because we are now affiliates with Twitch and can afford her.
That's right.
You gotta have that
Your
big money
subscriptions
for
go directly to helping Rachel eat.
That's
me.
right.
Please, honestly.
So yeah, we are officially now, as of between this particular episode and last episode, we're Twitch affiliates, and everything that goes along with that. I don't really know what all that means. If you don't either, go look it up and have fun. But we're officially Twitch affiliates.
Yeah, write in and tell us what it means.
Yeah, please do the research for me. I don't want to. So we're going to put you guys back up into Cauldron. And today will be our vignettes. We were going to do a lot of different things. I went on vacation, and then something happened the following week. We couldn't record, and here we are. So we're starting tonight with our vignettes. But let's kind of finish up what we did last time and tie it in today. So you've finished off with Tarlikar. Now what?
Fireworks, apparently.
Are we? Oh, yeah.
No, really. Hopefully they don't get too excessive.
Well, this is the month of July.
Yeah, I know.
I think actually, we did make it back to Cauldron, I believe, because I remember wanting to go to Genya, or it's not Genya now. It's oh my goodness, I can't remember the guy's name.
Rupert?
No,
Roberto?
Are you talking about the St. Cuthbert?
Yes.
That is
Rufus.
Rufus.
Yes.
Rufus.
Because
Rufus Laro.
Genia is important.
Genya is now the high priestess of
Yeah.
the Church of St. Cuthbert of Cauldron.
Yes.
And Rufus Laro is basically who Genya was when you first got here and is more or less your contact. But Genya has also said, I'm very busy, but my door is always open for you.
Hmm. Because when we were down there, we were down there for a reason, looking for, the formula for the wand.
Yes.
But we ran into a couple things, all pretty much related to the triad, the Ebon triad. And the journal talks about this dark eye, which is what turned Tarlikar into a lich, which seemed kind of important.
The smoking eye.
Yes, the smoking eye,
Yes.
which I don't know if it's Ayaz or not. I don't know I don't know. Khaldun doesn't know. So
Right.
it's like, let's talk to somebody who might know about what this is, this source of lichdom, because it may be important.
So you guys have gone back to the Church of St. Cuthbert, and through Rufus have started talking to Genya. And it just so happens that this particular day, when you go to visit Genya, Alma is here.
Mhm.
Now, Rachel has been gone for months. Alma has not. Alma's been around. You've seen her at the church several times. You've seen her around town, and Rachel's going to go more into what she's been doing when we get around to her vignette. But it's not like she's just been gone and all of a sudden, poof, here's Alma, right? Because I know I brought her up a couple of times. Like, you see Alma doing this, and she's around town and blah, blah, blah. So Alma did not disappear. Alma just had other things that she prioritized versus what you guys are doing.
She's
And
just been flipping us the bird every time we see her.
yeah, exactly.
She's like, don't you care about the environment?
Freaking tree hugger.
Yeah.
So you do go back and the four of you, if you want to do your hellos again. But like I said, it's not like it's been like, oh, it's been forever. It's been,
Yeah.
well, we saw you 3 days ago, so whatever. You do have time with Genya. And I think we did this also during the Twitch only exclusive. Went through the journal, and she actually translated it because it was originally in Nolish. And she's the one that basically gave you the information that I just told you about. He was talking about creating. One of the other things is that he was creating cages, which you did see some. You saw evidence of that in that gigantic room where you fought the
Slod.
Slod, because you saw what was remnant. Because actually, it was Khaldun that could tell that cages were being made here. And these cages were being built. They were humanoid-sized cages, and the Ebon Triad had been contracted to create these cages because they had the space. And it also, the Ebon Triad had been contracted because they had the space and they had the time, they had the effort, and all the cages got done months and months and months ago, maybe even a year ago at this time. All this was in the journal, and you felt like, based on the information and what you saw down there, that this was just a cell for the Ebon Triad, which, if we haven't said it on air yet, the Ebon Triad is a very secretive, somewhat secretive, not too much where nobody knows about it, obviously, but it is a sect of 3 separate religions: Vecna, Hexter, and Erenthul, all 3 evil gods. But the Ebon Triad is a subset of all 3 of those who've come together to create what they call the Overgod, and it's going to be the combination of these 3 gods as a major god. And
I had in the diary, I had a note that says Tarlikar intended to become a lich, kill the other 2, and help Vecna become the Overgod. So
That-
I don't know if that was the other two gods or the other two leaders of the
So
compound.
he wanted all the glory, and he didn't
Yep.
like the other two. And then once he became a lich, he just like lost his mind.
Okay, so which can you expand on that pronoun he? Which he are we talking about here?
Tarlikar lost his mind and wanted to get all the glory for the Ebon Triad. He was a full believer of the Ebon Triad. The thing about the three religions, Vecna, Hextra, Aranthul, versus the Ebon Triad is the three main god religious sects do not like the Ebon Triad because they feel like they're taking away from the actual whole god itself by creating another god. So they're their own entity. They're pulling a lot of their dogmas and their beliefs from the original, but their belief is to eventually create the singular god from the three. That is the Ebon Triad in a nutshell. Help, I'm in a nutshell. That was from Virginia in my voice.
Exposition, go.
Yes. Well, she has heard of it. I mean, they've got a pretty good library here. She's a well-knowledged priestess who was under Sarkham, who was a very, very powerful cleric and who actually did a lot of traveling for the church. So he gained a lot of knowledge and passed it down to her, and that's how she knows about this secretive Ebon Triad.
Till he died horribly.
Till he died at the hands of a monkey.
It's not very nice.
Yes.
He would never do things like
that
that.
was an uber monkey. It was
It was-
kind of tough.
Monkeys are rough.
Tongue Eater.
Yes.
Rip
Yes.
your face off.
His name was Tongue Eater.
Oh, that monkey. I was thinking about a different
Yes.
monkey. Sorry.
Guess why?
He liked Tic Tacs. So, what are you guys doing? We can move on to the individual vignettes. If there's nothing else you guys want to do to cinch up
I think
basically the last episode.
Well, I think the only other thing that we did at the end of the last episode is that Tarathiel told the other two that Patch was missing.
That's true.
right. That's
Patches.
right.
Because we went, before going down to fight the Lich, Tarathiel spoke to Gretchen, and Gretchen said that he'd been missing for a couple of days.
Yes. So, in order to just get the vignettes going, I'm going to go in order of appearance. I don't have a vignette, so I'm going to start with Heath. And Khaldun.
Okay. So
So-
I'm gonna. So full disclosure here. I did not know we're doing vignettes tonight. I thought we were going to do them Thursday. So I'm going to be winging a lot of this.
That's cool. Me too.
Okay.
Well, we were supposed to do this like 2 Thursdays ago.
Yeah.
Right. But I want to do the vignette before we start the next leg of the journey.
Got it. Sure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, what is Khaldun? After getting all this knowledge, you guys have cleared out this area under Cauldron, this cavernous, half chiseled, half cavernous area. Everybody's safe. Everybody's alive. You're fully rested. It's the next day.
Tarathiel gets a cat.
Mm-hmm.
Tarathiel has now got a cat.
Yay.
I have that cat.
Just what we needed.
It's my cat.
I have that cat too.
It's the mascot. And I would like to take this time, Mike, to just absolutely praise your choice of clothing
Attire.
tonight. Yeah.
Accoutrement.
Yeah.
It's
you're-
amazing.
Is that Mickey
And that's
Mouse
my name
with
on it.
hearts?
Is it
Yeah, it
Mickey
says
or
Mickey.
Minnie?
Oh, it's Mickey.
Oh, it's Mikey. Okay.
It's
So
cold.
Khaldun.
It's cold, man.
Okay.
Calvin.
So after talking with Ginia, getting some information about this, this whole connection with Vecna has me very intrigued for lots of different reasons. And also I owe Blue Crater quite a bit because they gave us a bunch of resources, which some of them I used,
Mhm.
and I know that we sort of got a at least. So the only resource I used was the 2 scrolls of Dispel Magic.
That's right.
So I know that I owe them at least that.
Which could be time. Doesn't have to be money.
Right. Um, so I would like to go to the Blue Crater Inn and talk to. Okay, my brain's having to
Jonathan.
reload.
Jonathan is the doorman of the Blue
Jonathan,
Crater
but
Academy.
then there is
Master Deacon.
Master Deacon. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So to go talk to them and sort of reconnect. I guess it's only been like 2 hours because we went down there. We had the whole, teary-eyed Hobbit scene of, you're gonna go face a lich and die. This is
Right.
terrible. You're such great people, and we survived.
That's exactly what happened. As the story was told.
So yeah, I'll go back here. I'd return all the other things that he gave me. He gave me Scrolls of Fireball, Wall of Stone, Haste, Protection from Evil or Good. He gave me a bunch of stuff, which didn't use. I give it all back.
All right.
And
No, those are yours to keep if you like. Just like I said, you have to work off the time, but if you want to return it, that's just as fine. Either way.
okay, then I'll hang on to them, and I will, work it off because these are extremely useful and valuable,
Yes.
and I can't replace them. Well,
Essentially-
I can replace the Fireball, but none of the other ones.
If you will help some of the other students and instructors recreate the scrolls with just here in the academy, we'll call that payment.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you very much, Mr. Deacon. And so I lay out the journal. It's
Tarlakar's journal?
Tarlakar's journal.
Okay.
Explain to him sort of what happened, what our experience was, and then the connection with Vecna, which I think in wizardly circles that's going to like pique everyone's interest
Yes.
because he's like the uber
lich
god of
god.
magic. Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
God, deceit, trickery, liches. Yes.
And talk about how Tarlakar was a disciple of the Evan Triad. Apparently, he had some connection with Vecna, and Vecna became jealous, I would say, perhaps, of his pursuit of the Evan Triad. I don't know if Vecna caused him to become this creature, this minor lich, or not. But, it describes this event where this dark eye looked upon him, and all of a sudden he was inflicted with undeath.
It's the smoking eye.
Smoking eye.
Yeah. The reason I keep clarifying that is the dark eye does actually intone Vecna. Smoking eye, which Jenya you spoke with, she'd never heard of it.
Okay, so in my notes I wrote, dark eye has looked upon him, so I wrote that down wrong.
Yes, the smoking eye.
Smoking eye.
Um,
Smoking.
snaking eye.
I think Dark Eye is Tolkien.
That's the
Sauron.
Sauron. So you're showing this journal to Master Deacon, yeah?
I am, yes.
All right.
Mhm.
So as you're talking, go ahead, and he's reading through it.
Yeah,
He's a speed
I'm
reader.
laying out the events, right? And I'm placing, some theories before him. It's like, at first I thought perhaps this was Vecna's jealousy, that he's one of his worshippers is abandoning him, and that he knew that the result of this transformation into this minor lich would not go well. He sort of viewed it as a punishment, sort of a mockery of true lichdom. But since this does not really sound like the touch of Vecna, I'm not quite sure what's going on here.
Master Deacon, he finishes looking through the journal and he reads through it all. He refers to Vecna earlier in the journal as Vecna, but later in the journal he refers to something else as a smoking eye. So to me that indicates it was something separate.
Okay.
And I don't know if you were affected or if you're around. Several months ago, there was an event that happened. And
Oh, it was terrible.
every student, every instructor, most people I know around Cauldron were hit by massive nightmares.
I was undead.
You were undead and you
Mhm.
had the nightmares.
I did.
So I don't know if that is related to this or not, because the timing, from what this journal sounds like, is about the time, around the time that this occurred.
Okay.
The
Now,
timing's
so
hard to
when
tell.
that happened, we did dig into that some, and I think we determined what God, that was definitely a divine event, that what God may have been behind that. Did we not? I thought we
Don't
did.
No, I don't think so. Well, I
Okay.
hope not, because that'd be a big reveal.
Uh,
I don't think that I told
Can't
you
do that.
specifics. I think you had it was a massive terror, like, and everybody, like, you all made saving throws when you woke up. Like, it was a major psychic event, and everybody got hit by it. And it was uh,
We were in the Lucky Monkey, right?
yes, you were. It was after a long rest in the Lucky Monkey. After you had found Father Sarcom, um, and they did a long rest, or maybe right before you went. I don't remember exactly the timing, but yeah, that was about the time you were down the Lucky Monkey, and then came back up, and you did some research trying to find where you've just spent the last 6 months in real time.
okay. All right.
And so Master Deacon is maybe the timing's off. It sounds about the same time whenever this happened. It may have been a result. Um, I'm not sure. I have heard of the Ebon Triad. It's a fairly new cult, as in within the last 100 years. I guess new relatively to the world. Um, they're part of Vecna, but they have taken followers of Vecna. They don't actually follow Vecna the way true followers would. They're following this overgod that they're trying to create. They're not.
So I did. Vecna's not part of the Evan Triad, right?
Yes, yes, it is.
Wait, you
It's
said
it's
Hexter.
Hexter, Arenthul, and Vecna are part
Oh.
of the Ebon Triad.
Okay. All right. Got it. Got it. Okay. That makes a little more sense. For some reason, I forgot that. So whatever god this is, may be opposed to the Ebon Triad.
Possibly, yes. I see what you're saying. As far as how Tarlikar became a lich overnight, usually that takes
Long time.
a lot of power, a lot of research, a lot of ingredients creating a phylactery. That
Yeah,
takes a
as
lot of
he
knowledge.
mentions that, I pull out the phylactery jewels. As he was in the process of creating a phylactery.
And he looks at it and he hands it back to you. I don't think that'll work. That's just a paltry, compared to what a phylactery needs to be valued. This thing, it probably wouldn't have worked as a
So-
true phylactery.
The battle with Tarlikar was tough. I mean, he knocked us all around the room. So I'm not going to minimize his power, but he was a minor lich. I mean, so maybe you just need a little itty bitty box for his soul.
He actually chuckles. Well, it's possible. That's a definite possibility. And he pulls out a journal and scratches out the list of where you'll be a teacher at Blue Crater Academy. I don't know. I do know that, like most evil, it takes time to grow power, and if this thing had just become a lich, that it didn't have time to realize its own abilities yet. Lucky for you.
Yes, very lucky for us because that was a close fight. Very, very close fight. Okay. Do
And
you?
if Matt remembers correctly, you actually fell in that fight. You
I
fell
did.
in the combat. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
I
right.
woke up on the ground thanks
Yep.
to Mike. He saved my butt.
Yes.
Um, so, would you have any recommendations for either people I can talk to or areas I can research to look for more information about this, what's behind this smoking eye, and perhaps even the nightmares?
You're obviously welcome to use our library here. Um, I know that you're friendly, or at least an associate with the Church of St. Cuthbert. You've mentioned it many times before.
Yes.
If they'll let you use their library, that might be a source of information.
Okay.
I do not know what this is. I don't recognize the smoking eye.
Okay. Okay. Well then, have you seen Copper?
Yeah.
Is he still around here?
He is.
He's helping the students.
He definitely keeps them entertained.
I have a big bag of copper pieces. I think he might be interested.
I wish you wouldn't,
Okay.
because there are now 3.
Oh.
Twerp now has a brother. They've been feeding him a lot of copper.
Well, hopefully they're useful in teaching some of the new students things like transmutation, maybe even illusion.
Well, they have been studying him and talking to him about his origins and his society. I didn't know they actually lived in actual organized societies, like whole cities of mimics. I never knew that. So, yes, Foxy and to a minor extent Twerp have been very useful and very helpful in teaching students and instructors. I could not tell you where he is.
Okay. All right, that's fine. I get up off the chair. Hi. Eyes are everywhere. You know that it's ooh. I need to talk to Mike. I need to talk to Tarathiel. I just got a great idea.
Does it have to do with inventing googly eyes in this universe and just stacking them on everything in Blue Crater Academy?
Everything. Yes. I think we have a way
That's what I was thinking.
Blue Crater Academy creates the world's best and most paranoid wizards.
They're everywhere.
Well,
Well, so we are in the process of moving into a space down below. He knows about the caves. The caves, we're probably going to be using it for, a home base, hopefully. If it turns out that Boxy and Twerp are kind of causing problems, we can probably give them a really nice home.
Promise?
Also, there are lots of spaces, and the area was home to a very accomplished lich, a very accomplished gnome wizard. So there's a pretty good library down there. If there are any students who would like to come down and perhaps get some hands-on experience with lots of different things, I have to speak with my friends, but I think they would be more than welcome to come down, perhaps spend some time, do some research.
If you allow our faculty and students at your discretion to come down into that area and do some studies, he pulls out the journal and rewrites instructor for the Blue Crater Academy.
Yes, I don't know the architecture. It looks dwarven to me, but I don't know that kind of thing. So there's probably quite a few things that could be learned down there. Also, it's very wide open spaces. So if you do need spaces for explosions, there's spaces to be had. So I'll extend that offer. I do have to confirm it with my friends though before I can't just, it's not mine completely.
In either case, he stands up and holds his hand out. By the power invested in me as the head instructor of the Blue Crater Academy, based on your accomplishments, you are hereby welcome to join us as faculty.
I accept. Thank you
Fire
very
alarm.
much.
Fire alarm.
Yeah.
your knowledge, your experiences alone put you way above anybody else that's been in tenure. No tenure.
I can't blow up students.
No tenure. No. Um, just based on your experience alone, you and your friends have fought and defeated a vampire and a lich, and you've basically befriended a mimic. Yes, you are welcome. You would be an amazing addition to our, I almost said church, academy.
I thank you very much. This is that's I never in my dreams that I imagined when I fled my society that I would find a place where I was so welcomed.
And on that note, if you ever have time and have the inclination, I would love to speak with you about that. You're leaving.
Tunareth?
Tunarath, you're leaving, just your experiences.
Okay. Yeah, I'd be happy to.
Excellent. Achievement unlocked.
Achievement unlocked.
Professor. You may use that as your prologue to your name now, like an MMO. Professor Khaldun.
Professor Khaldun.
Gotta get-
I
gotta
just
get
realized I
business
don't have any labels on anyone.
Oh, come on.
And we lost
Oh.
Rachel for a second.
And Rachel's gone. Well, that was a short stint with Rachel. We'll see her next time.
I don't know where she's at.
I see her. She's right next to me on
Yeah.
Hollywood Squares.
Hold on.
Well, I was going to endorse you for OBS on LinkedIn, but now
All right, so you're going to look into more information about the smoking eye.
Yes.
Was that specifically it, or were you...
Would be sort of the two sort of paths that I would follow.
All right.
Looking for some kind of connection. So I think those are really my primary concerns right now as far as sort of this little section is concerned.
Okay.
There are some things I would like to do as far as, either researching or buying or crafting magic items, but we don't need to do that right now.
All right. So basically then for the next couple of months, which is basically the duration of this vignette, you're going to be paying your time back.
Yep.
And researching the smoking eye, maybe the nightmares.
Yep.
And Ebon Triad, I mean, just because
Yes.
you asking a lot about it.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then, if I can spend some time either crafting or finding some way to purchase a couple of things.
What do you have in mind?
Well, I have a short, simple list. The first one is goggles of night, so I can see in the dark.
right.
The next one is, I think, boots of flying. And then the last two are an amulet of health, and then upgrading my arcane grimoire, which this phylactery jewel would be the perfect thing to do that with.
It's definitely usable as a magic component. Absolutely.
So those are I doubt I have time to do all that, but that's my short list of things I would be interested in.
All right. I'll take a look at those between sessions, and
Okay.
we'll talk about that later. Anything else for your vignette? That was short and sweet.
That's Khaldun.
That's fine.
He's
That's
just
fine,
kind of
yeah.
like,
All right. So you'll spend... too late. Sorry.
Sorry.
You said you were done.
Sorry. As far as our the cave is concerned,
Oh, yeah. This
as
is
an
actually something you
observer,
mentioned.
yes, arcane lock. I can arcane lock freaking everything.
So let's talk about that real quick. Are you... This is the whole part. This is everybody. Are you guys moving down into that area? Yes?
I would like to. I don't know if we've had the discussion, but I think it'd be smart.
Well, I would just like to have a name for it instead of the place or the joint or, So think about that, something we can call it. But cool. So you did actually mention it was last episode, but we're talking about what you were going to talk about during the vignette. And one of the things you want to do was to shore up the defenses.
Mhm.
You had spoken with Keegan Gelv who has been hiding out at St. Cuthbert's Church with Jinya because he's still exiled. I mean, he wasn't forgiven for his part in the kidnapping of the children.
I think did Tarathiel not offer him perhaps some place to stay down in the cave?
Yes, but we had to finish clearing it out before
Right.
Oh,
he could
okay.
come down there.
Yeah,
So he was going to work on putting a physical lock on the door, like putting up a gate. And I gave him the Hat of Disguise, so he can move around the city.
So he's, granted, it's been a couple hours, but Keegan has been, at this point, just drawing schematics. Like, you gave him the dimensions of it, so he's in the midst of creating an iron gate that's lockable with a badass lock. And then your 3 henchmen are also going to be moving down in there. And just to kind of give you guys a behind the veil, and I guess the listeners too, you guys have a pool of henchmen now, right? You've got the 3 that helped you fight Vecna, help you fight a lich. You've got the 2 that you discovered down in Drakthar's Way. You've got Keegan Gelf. And honestly, if you chose to, you could have probably a student from
What
the
grade?
academy, or even a priest from St. Cuthbert's Church. So you're acquiring these henchmen, and they are as to where you want them to stay. If you want them to stay down there or whatever, y'all need to have that discussion. I'd like to do it on air at some point. Maybe not today during the vignettes, but like, just you're growing in power, growing in notoriety, and people are wanting to follow you and learn from you. And honestly, after you finished up with Master Deacon, he mentioned that you're welcome to take a student.
That one.
Yes.
Okay, I can definitely use some extra hands because the place is large.
Okay.
So I would appreciate that.
So I'm gonna let you come up with him or her, whatever you want.
All right.
And we'll move on if that's it for your vignette.
I'm good. I think this is good.
All right. Notes are completed. Mr. Jamie. What's Farazan doing?
Fiddling.
Jamie is working on the stream. He's being very diligent. I can see that.
Yes.
Do you want to skip and come back? We can go to you later if you'd like, if you need some more time.
No, as long as everyone, as long as Skype will chill out, then I think we'll be fine for just a minute.
Okay.
So I think I remember that Farazan was going to go. I think he was
So I
headed
wrote
to Skies.
Well, I wrote it down. You gave me a couple of things you wanted to do. You wanted to go to Sky's Emporium. You wanted to go to the Church of St. Cuthbert because you wanted to talk about training Thistle.
Mhm.
And at the time, you even mentioned taking a level of cleric at some point, maybe. So maybe talking to Jinya about learning more about St. Cuthbert and whatnot. So that's what I've got written down.
Yeah.
By all means, it doesn't have to be any of that. You can do whatever you like.
Well, the taking Thistle to St. Cuthbert or to what's the other one? Cord.
Cord, yes.
Yeah. Cord, maybe just to give him fighter levels, or but yeah, just the training montage sort of thing to get them their levels, and I don't remember what it's called, sidekick levels.
I'm imagining the scene in Conan when they're doing that, the training and the face and the.
I totally had Rocky in part 4 in Siberia, like running through 18 feet of snow and doing push-ups and stuff like that. But yeah, the general training montage 101 with Thistle. So game mechanics wise, these guys level up as you do. They're pretty basic. It's not like you can't multi-class with one of these guys. So taking him to see to the Coliseum, basically, of Cord probably would be better. Of course, St. Cuthbert is a very, very martial god. Like, their priests aren't just like monks; they're paladins, and you're pretty sure Jinya could hold her own in a fight. So really up to you. Depends on who you'd like to go to Or both. I mean,
Farazan is going to be spent because he spent kind of in that first little bit. He spent time at Cord, and it was more. Sorry, I didn't realize Mike had actually gotten up and left. I freaked out for a minute because I was like, there's an empty spot, but no. I was like, what did I do? So he spent time at Cord, learning more, you know, combat maneuvers and that sort of thing. But now I see him spending more time at St. Cuthbert, learning more tactics.
Okay.
So when he and Thistle are training, it's maybe a session at Cord, beating the hell out of him, get up, now that he's hurt, he drags him over to St. Cuthbert and sits him down in front of like the little chessboard thing with the slidey, the war boards where you slide the units around, and you're doing the war games and things like that, simulating troop movements and things like that. So propping him up when he's exhausted, and just trying to teach him those sorts of things, because I see the the fighter bits of Farazan as more focused on the swinging the staff and that sort of thing, but the battle master, where he's learning control and knowing how to do the trip attacks and the ripostes and things of that nature, and the precision attacks, he's learning those from the people at St. Cuthbert, because they're a bit more controlled, they're a bit more tactical, for lack of a better reason, and that's the way my interpretation of it.
Well, it makes sense because you look at Thistle, and he was basically a thug. He was a merc hired just to guard, no real training. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense that you would take him. And honestly, it's not like Thistle is assigned to Farazan. It's just use that as you're controlling him. So you could take all three of them and do the same thing, all three, basically giving reason for them to level up, quote unquote. So all three of them, you're taking them to see as Felkir at the Temple of Lordly Might, and go through all the and they play some chess and war games. So sure, absolutely, you can train all three of them.
And the sidekick levels, those are
thematically
in warrior, right?
It's called something, but theirs are the martial type. There's three different kinds. There's like a roguish type, there's a fighter type, and then there's like a caster type. These guys are the fighter types.
Okay. Experts, spellcasters, and warriors. So.
Warriors, that's it. These three are warriors. And at this point, they're still level 3 warriors. I'm going to level them up on your even levels.
Okay. Excellent. Okay, so they get their improved critical at level 3. So yeah, he's I could see them kind of making progress. When they strike, they're striking a bit more precisely. Even Farazan doesn't have improved critical, so he sees them striking a little bit better more often. He's like, maybe I need to learn a few things from you.
Well, that could be Asfelkir, like that. You talk about the Conan montage. This guy sounds like Arnold. Like, the guy will train you. That kind of thing.
It's like, you have done a good job already.
Get those people here.
But yeah, that's what I see. Like him just training those guys, use guys as in their warrior levels. So.
So all three of them: Thistle, Ajar, and Sakuro. I'm gonna train all three of them. Okay.
And have we spoken through our level stuff? Is that part of today, tomorrow?
You did level up after. We can do that when everybody's done. Time permitting. If not, we'll just do it next time.
Okay. And then let's see. The trip to Skies.
Okay. Go to Skies Emporium, and the little gnomish woman who you've spoken to on several occasions. Welcome. And she's dusting things off, and she beams with like pure joy and happiness to see one of the three people who have given her more money than everybody else in the last 10 years walk in her door.
Yeah, just
she breaks out like the crystal and like the caviar, like, Have a seat. Let's discuss what you're buying today.
He kind of leans back from the expensive food. He's like, that is not necessary. I do not require any
Okay, she
fancy
starts
food.
eating.
Yes. She pulls out a cracker.
I can afford this now.
I'm glad to hear it. But I'm not here for food. I am here for more equipment.
Okay.
I'm looking for a belt that will give me the strength of a giant.
Well, aren't you? Oh, giant, not an ogre. Uh, all right. Well, I don't have one here. Not been much as far as people trading magic items. You are the last adventurers I've seen, besides that stupid storm, whatever, whoever they are. They're not real. Um,
What
I haven't had
stupid
any-
storm.
What?
the storm blades, the noble kids who are going around.
We
They took
met
out
them at the dinner.
You met them at the dinner. They're this adventuring group, but it's just a bunch of nobles kids. They took out those kobolds, and they're just anyway. They don't have anything. They nothing. They never come here. They're not my friends. You're my friend.
He said,
I don't have that. I know what you're talking about. I've heard of those before. I don't think I've ever had one come through my store. I'm certainly happy to send out feelers and requests to other towns. I'll start with Sasserine, the port town, and see what I can come up with.
that would be excellent. It would be a welcome addition.
So, game mechanics, what are you looking for?
A belt of hill giant strength?
Belt of Hill Giant Strength.
Yes.
All right.
I
Okay.
think it's a yeah, belt of giant strength,
Hill
comma,
Giant. Yeah.
comma hill. Yeah, so 21 strength.
And
I think that would be it. Oh. So he would also ask Sky. I do have one other question. Do you know if there exists and he pulls off his belt, one of the axes, his hand axes, a magical axe that when thrown it will return to you. I nearly lost these two, and they've been with me for some time.
well, DM just rolled. I, strangely enough, have one. It's a axe of returning. You throw it, and it comes back to your hand, rather quickly, magically. Slightly enchanted to be more useful in combat, do more damage, easier to hit with, but it does return to your hand. Yes. I didn't realize I had it. It was, I don't know, the DM rolled a 93, so it was buried somewhere deep in a pit of other things I have. Yes, I do have it. Would you like to buy it?
How much would it cost me?
Cost is such a strange word. I would be willing to give this to you for just a small pittance.
How
And
small
I
of a pittance.
4,000 gold.
Good
She
lord.
looks down the floor and scratches her head. Or 40,000 silver, whatever's your preference.
That's actually a discount.
That is
Yeah.
a discount.
Yeah.
She looks around.
Who said that?
I didn't know you could do that. And now his box is empty. Now I'm really freaking out because
Yeah.
he's not sitting there.
It's not really saying. Says that may be a little much. That's what I was hoping to pay for the belt.
The belt might be a little bit more than that, about the same price, but considering I have to find it and pay finder's fees to get it here, it might have a little bit more of an up charge to it. At 4,000 or 40,000 silver for an item of this exquisite, and she throws it against the wall, and it hits and sticks and right back in her hand, is not a trifling trinket. Well worth every silver. Normally it would be 5,000, but you are a very good customer. You and your friends, where are they, by the way? Do they have any need for more items?
Believe they are investigating some things. There seems to be another missing person.
Oh dear, have them come investigate my magic items at some point. Um, are you interested? I'll hang on to it if you would like to go procure money or get a loan.
Get alone. It says, if it is an axe of returning, I don't believe you'll be able to get rid of it.
You're the funniest person I've ever met. Would you like to buy this now?
Not today, thank you.
Would you like for me to hold on to it for you?
Yes, but it may be some time until we can kill
How much
another
time?
lich.
How much time are we talking about?
How long has it been since the last time we came in disguise?
Months.
Yeah.
I think it's a couple months.
He says probably another few months before I can gather that much silver.
All right. I'll try to keep it in stock. Give me a insight.
Oh yeah, this is gonna go well.
That's all right.
Insight. No, it's not terrible. 20.
20.
Adjust.
You are very, very certain that she will not sell this in the next 5 years.
Yeah. Okay.
But she takes it. She sets it over on the. I will keep this just for you at the same price for 1 month. However, the price will go up if it's past a month, up to its full retail value of 5,000 gold pieces. Now I'm having to talk in gold terms because silver is just not a big enough currency. You come in here with 400 platinum, we can talk.
I don't have many platinum. Yeah, don't have that many platinum. So, says, well, I will see you in a month.
We have some treasure that I don't think we've doled out because I'm
You
looking
have
at
a
this list
lot
and
of treasure.
like none of this is on my character sheet.
So I don't know if this is just Farazan like trying to haggle or whatever, but like you guys have a lot of money that maybe you've forgotten about. Remember behind the two spawns of chaos, there was that massive chest of like 100,000 copper, like tons and tons of money.
Yeah, so we've got a long list of treasure that I don't think we've really taken the time to dole out because I'm looking at some of these numbers and I'm like, my character sheet has 15 gold on it, and I know that I haven't spent.
Well, you do
So
spend a lot
yes,
spell
I have
stuff,
bought some spells. Yeah.
but not that much.
I have 4,636 gold on my character sheet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, Jamie, just in case, is this like Farazan trying to be coy, or is this Jamie just not having the cash?
Yeah, I mean, I've got 68 platinum and 4,800 gold. So
Okay. Okay.
I think that is right on the coinage, but yeah, we didn't. We don't. This, as far as I know, we haven't sold any of the. Let's see. There's a few things I've got here that that have some like an alchemy yug. No, an alchemy jug.
Yes.
The nature's mantle. I mean, the elven chain. Some of those things that I don't know if anyone here could actually use. Oh, we have a jade statue to give to Alma.
Yay.
Aw, how nice.
Yeah,
He's so sweet.
it's yeah, it's 1,000 gold pieces. Sweet.
Pretty sweet.
It's pretty sweet.
So let's talk about the money that was in the chest behind the two spawns of chaos. If y'all didn't write it down, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you what it is again real quick because it was a lot.
Okay.
15,500 copper,
Yep.
Okay.
8,000 silver,
Oh. Okay.
4,500 gold,
Oh.
and
Oh.
200 platinum.
Yeah, I did not have that written down.
Oh yeah, I didn't have that one. I had
Well-
I had an obsidian chest, but it didn't have that in it.
Well, the thing was, things were moving, and you were trying to clear things out. But once you killed Tarlikar, I mean, the place was cleared out. So you had a few moments to go back and check it out. Yeah, you have money. Now, who gets that money is not really up to me, but that is what the party found. Just cash alone in that one chest. And you feel like, that was literally what that was. That was the treasury of the Ebon Triad.
Because we've got also there's a greasy there's a ruby 600 gold from this is the Slod room, I think. Emerald 100 gold, 15 plat, loot worth 1500 gold. I'm pretty sure we have not liquidated any of that. All that cash.
So I tell you what, let's do that off air because nobody likes to play Excel and Word
Yep.
Perfect.
What?
That's where I started. Does that change your mind, Jamie, or do you still want to hold off?
I think splitting that splitting that between the party won't be enough.
Not
'cause
me.
yeah.
Not me.
Well, my main focus is to get the belt, but then I'll sell the bracers. So I still don't think that's going to be enough. But yeah, we can look at that off air.
Okay.
That's fine.
So you're interested in the axe, you're interested in the belt, but
Mhm.
we'll just take care of that later.
Yeah, that's
All
fine.
right.
That's fine.
All right.
And then the only other thing I think he would be doing would be going out to what's the blacksmith's name?
The original one, Garthen.
Yeah, Garthen, because he had spoken to Farazan
Sorry.
had spoken to Garthen. No,
Gurnazon. He's the blacksmith that Khaldun spoke with when he first got into town. So Gurnazon is the one Gurnazon.
Gurnazon.
Gurnazarn's Smithy, number 24 on the map.
Okay, and number 1 in our hearts. But yeah, he'll head over to Gurnazarn's smithy and speak to him because he had asked about the gate.
Yes.
And then I figure he may look into like helping with that gate, just manning the forge or manning the bellows or something like that. And then when he's when he's putting the finishing touches on it, just watching just how it's done, because he's got the painter's tools. That's he's got the practice. Farazan's got the practice. With making those precise movements. On canvas. So see that as like his when he got his battlemaster level. He picked up that tool proficiency. So he does. Those. I guess those fine movements. He's started got a little bit more mastery of those fine movements. But I'd like to see him put in some time at the forge, and then start doing things that are not necessarily like structural, like welding and stuff like that, but to start forming metal into making them statues or artistic, or making decorative things on the gate. So instead of just being like the bars, maybe it's shaped into some sort of icon or some sort of design. So kind of more focused, but with strength behind it. He's building strength and control at the same time. Kind of the same principle as the artistic work. By with the painting, but with something heavier. Because he's moving into upper levels. So I think he would need to, or mid level. So I think he would need to kind of change his training up a little bit.
So Gurnazarn is a very, very talented dwarven blacksmith, and he could help you with like etching, which is what he knows how to do. Etching designs in the sides of blades and axes and things like that. he might be able to show you a few things as far as the finer points of those delicate movements. It sounds like you're wanting to do basically kind of like sculpting, like metal sculpting. It didn't sound like you wanted to etch into a weapon. It sounded like you wanted to build something, like attached to a gate or
Yeah, like it
build
would
a
be
dog statue.
more. Yeah, it would be more. Trying to think of what, in real life he would be building. But I don't know if
All right.
did I explain my kind of what I
Not
wanted
clearly.
him to do. Okay.
Tell me in game terms what you want to do.
I mean, there's no mechanic behind it. Just
So like fancy wrought iron gates, like wrought
Yeah.
iron gates that are super strong, but they have a nice design to it. Like they have a finesse.
yeah, but it would take more like so. He's just in terms of his like training himself. There's no game mechanic behind it. It's
Well,
just
the
all-
reason I ask is you
Mhm.
can train in skills.
Yeah.
That's why I ask if there's a game mechanic, because you could train in blacksmithing, or you could train in another tool, or yada yada yada. It would cost you money and time, which is what this is all about. These vignettes is
Mhm.
money and time to be spent. So if you would like to train in another profession or tool or skill, or take expertise in the skill you already have, this is when you do it.
Okay.
Is that what you're wanting to do, or is
No.
this kind of like a role play thing where you go and
Yeah,
learn how to
it
be
was,
a different?
it was more just kind of describing how he, the leveling up process.
Okay.
Working with him. But in terms of mechanics, not nothing additional onto Farazan.
I yada yada. Oh no.
Did you yada
okay.
yada?
Apparently I
We,
yada
we
yada.
we were having a discussion about how this podcast doesn't yada yada, unlike others, and then Matt immediately yada yada straight away.
Dang it.
It was amazing.
I retract my yada yada.
Could not have planned it better. Just one yada.
All right, so you're spending some of your downtime with Gurnisarn over the next couple of months,
Mhm.
just fine tuning your artistic ability into a new format.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, and were we gonna spend some time during these looking for information for Patch too? Was that part of this?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
It's just, yeah.
Okay, so he would probably
So let me interrupt you real quick.
okay.
Because I know Tarathiel was interested in that as well.
Okay.
And I threw a message out to you guys on Discord, like our private little thing. You guys don't have to be solo in your vignettes. If you want to go say, hey, will you come with me to do this? I don't want to step on your toes, Mike, as your vignette, but like if you both have the same idea, there's no reason not to get together to team up, Sidekick.
Yeah, that's true.
Um,
I mean, yeah, my intention was to go straight to the orphanage. That's the first part of my vignette, so
Okay.
I can take Khaldun with me if he wants to come. Take Farazan with me. Why do I do that?
Okay.
I know who you are.
So if that's what Mike's going to do, why don't you join him on his then?
Okay.
Is that cool with you?
We
All
can jump to the orphanage.
Is there anything else that you want to do besides that in your vignette?
I think that about covers it. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome.
I wanted to add something to
Sure.
mine. Once Deacon promoted me professor, Khaldun has a pennant tied to the hilt of his greatsword, and right
Yes.
now it's still the red one
Uh-huh.
from when we defeated the bandits. He's going to change it out for the pennant of the Blue Crater Academy.
Now, you also had a different, when you first arrived at
It was
Cauldron,
different.
So this would be the third change. This will be a second change. It'll be the third different pendant,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Okay. So you no longer hang that first pendant? Or is
No.
this in addition to?
No, just one at a time.
Okay. So now you're hanging the pendant of the Blue Crater Academy?
Yep.
Gotcha. Okay. Right, Mr. Mac, Mr. Tarathiel.
Morning.
Morning.
Yeah, so Tarathiel will grab Farazan and
Let go.
get him to help carry the toys that he had manufactured because we haven't given them to the kids, and it gives him a good excuse to go back to the orphanage.
All right. So you head to the orphanage. Same time frame. You get there. Gretchen meets you. It just doesn't even say hi. So come on in, come on in. You know, and everybody there, all the employees, all the kids. It's just one of their typical days. It's just pure chaos of children playing, and them trying to wrangle them and feed them during the day.
Yep.
And Gretchen, she just smiles at the two of you. What brings you around?
We have some little gifts for the children, just to, I know that they probably don't have much, and we wanted to give them something fun.
Well, that's very kind of you. And she also pulls out from a pocket and dangles a raven amulet in front of you and hands it back to you.
Thank you.
It was a
Thank
raven,
you
right?
for holding on to it. It's it's important, and I didn't want to lose it.
Well, I appreciate you entrusting me and taking care of that. It's very, very, very kind of you.
Anyone that looks after children for a living has to be trustworthy.
And she yells. The voice goes from like the nice little Gretchen to "Hey, kids!" Like it just echoes throughout the entire orphanage, and all the kids come down. And actually, it's probably Farazan got the big bag over his shoulder of toys. Now, these are the toys that you met with Moonfish down on the side of the volcano, and had her create out of just stuff from nature, like vines.
Yep.
and trees and weavings and just things like that.
Yeah, and these are all little Caldoons and little Farazans.
Right, action figures.
Little action figures.
And in one of them, you placed. Remind me what you did with that.
Yeah, so it has a finger from the Lucky Monkey in it. So I just want to make sure that one goes to Taram.
Okay. And he grabs it.
as-
Who's the action figure of? It goes to Taram.
Ooh. I don't know. Let's roll a die and figure it
All
out.
right. All right.
I guess Farazan, you're there. Pick odds or evens.
3 fingers. Odds.
Odds it is, and it was a 3. It's
Oh.
it's a Farazan.
It's.
Aw.
I feel like that has to be a Tarathiel.
No, Tarathiel didn't have any of him made.
Oh, really? Okay. Okay.
Nope, they are Caldoons and Farazans.
So Farazan gets or Taram gets a
Taram
Farazan.
gets a
doll.
Farazan with a Lucky Monkey finger in it. That's a sentence I was not prepared for, and it escaped my face.
So, what was the purpose behind that? Did you want to keep that behind the scenes, or you told me a couple of months ago? But the purpose of the finger.
I guess, yeah, I can talk about it because it may never come up. But the whole point was that I got Farazan to draw the finger as accurately as possible, so that if Taram goes missing again, then we have some kind of object that we can use to attempt to locate him. It's wildly convoluted, but it was like I wanted to have like a secret mechanism for being able to do that.
I think it's a great idea. Like, it makes scrying that much. It makes it almost a given that you'll scry somebody if you have something like that. Do you have inspiration?
Yes,
Okay. Well, dang. All right.
but
Level
I
it.
did also, yeah, I did
Super.
also kind of assume that like somebody that takes Taram and tries to hide him might do something to hide him, because I also thought like, I could have just got Farazan to make a picture of Taram, and then we could have used that to scry on him and find him. Doing it to an object makes it more likely that won't get messed with. That if they try and do something to hide Taram, that they won't do it to the doll.
Well, it's also really, really nice. It's a double plus good. You gave a bunch of toys to kids on top of that, right? So it had a secondary, or maybe the primary reason was to bring some joy to the children. But I think it's a good. When you told me about it originally, I thought it was a really cool idea. So
There's madness to the method.
dig it.
Cool.
And they're all, they're doing the typical doing pull-ups on Farazan's outstretched arms and using him as a basically
Jungle Gym.
playground, jungle gym. Um,
And as usual, Tarathiel's kind of awkward around the kids, but he seems to like them.
yeah, I feel
He's
like you're
just not
warming
really
up,
sure how to deal
a
with
little
them.
more comfortable. Yeah,
Well, it's more that, like, I think Tarathiel sees that Fezan has an easy way with kids, and Tarathiel doesn't. He's kind of not really sure what to do with them, but he likes being around the kids.
Okay.
And I think we've revealed on the stream from the dream that Tarathiel had that he has a daughter somewhere.
he does have a daughter, but nothing else has really been spoken about your daughter.
Yeah.
You dreamed that she was
In danger.
in danger. She was being tortured and wanting
By
to
me.
wanting to be released. Yeah. Yep.
Pretty rough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty standard.
Pretty standard stuff,
standard.
really. Yeah, and so Tarathiel will take the pendant from Gretchen and kind of put it back around his neck and tuck it in under his armor. Any word on Patch?
No. So I know. I mean, Patch, he's a grown boy now. We don't keep him. We don't put. What's the word I'm looking for? There is not a curfew for Patch. He can come and go as he likes, which is probably how he got in all that trouble in the first place. And I've told him, we've talked about that. Nothing ever good happens after midnight. I keep telling him that. But he comes and goes. And it's not unusual for him to go and come back a day later. And usually it's toward the end of the weeks when he has no or fewer chores where he can spend time out. He's a growing boy. He has to go out and live the world and find himself a good woman and make babies and supply more labor for the future of our society. So it's not such a bad thing for him to not show up, but he's been gone for 3 or 4 days now. It has been. Today will be the 4th day that nobody's seen or heard from him in this orphanage. And his stuff, his belongings, he didn't have a whole lot, but in his room, everything that he normally had in there, not that I snoop, but nothing's really gone. All his stuff is still here. He didn't pack up and leave. He would have told me. I feel like he would have told me. We've had a great relationship, even more so since you found out his connection with those bad men. He's told me a lot, and he's told me he's not going to be dealing with them anymore. He even told me he refused to go to that place where he met the first, was it Last Laugh? And she kind of crosses herself a little bit. She refuses to go. He told me he wasn't going back there ever again.
Did they ask him to?
He didn't mention it. This was a couple of days before.
The tip tankard? You talking about the tip tankard?
Yeah, the tip tankard. This was a couple of days before he went missing, but he came and specifically told me, he's like, I'm done with them. I'm never going back. I don't care. I'm not going to help them kidnap children. And he's been very apologetic and I've forgiven him. And I think everybody here, we all love him. He's part of the family. But he's been gone it has been 4 days this morning.
Yeah, the Last Laugh are people you don't say no to easily. I'll look into it though. He's probably fine. He's probably just, I don't know, found a new place to hang out for a little bit.
Okay. And she smiles disbelievingly, like hoping, but you know what I mean? Like, that's nice, but I have a bad feeling about this kind of smile.
Yeah, and Tarathiel doesn't believe it either. He's kind of like,
you're both like
it's one of those
failing
like,
your lie checks real bad.
Let's just agree that he's okay, even though we
He's
both know
fine.
he's not. Yeah.
Yes, that's the social nicety lie.
We'll hang out for a bit, give the
Alright.
kids a bit of excitement playing
Play
on
with the kids. for a while.
Farazan, playing on the swing set.
I think Farazan
On
would
the
have more
seesaw,
fun than they
please.
are. Do what?
And
On the seesaw.
seesaw.
It doesn't ever really move, but
Well, either that or we just get a barrel and just have Farazan plank across it. Just put kids on either end. All right, Farazan, did you have anything to add while we're at the orphanage?
So he would ask. You said that a few days ago he said he refused to go to the Tip Tankard. Did he mention that someone had approached him about going there again?
No, he just we got to where we talked daily about how men act and how they should behave, and that what he did wasn't good, and he didn't say that anybody approached him. He just one day just flat out told me that he wasn't going to be dealing with them anymore.
Were there any other bits of information about who he contacted in your daily talks?
He never would say a name. I feel like more of that I really feel like he didn't know the name, or I don't know. He never did give me a name. He just told me that it was, and he called him a handler. I guess that's the term that those evil men use. But he just said his handler at the Tip Tankard would check in with him every couple of days and ask if there's any new information or just things like that.
Yeah, even if he had a name, it probably wouldn't have been the person's real one.
Oh goodness, that's so complicated.
It's much easier to be honest.
It is. I keep telling him. I tell all the children, honesty is the best policy.
I'm convinced she's the beholder.
How many dresses
but the-
is she wearing?
She's got the chicken arms. I think that's like the 5th person that you're convinced is a beholder in this town so far.
Everyone's a beholder.
It's
they
right.
all are.
It's a town of
Why?
beholders. It's a cup. It's like Pac-Man's. It's made for beholders. It's a Pac-Man chair.
Wait, are you Gelvin, a hat of disguise? You have to tell me if you are.
It's a trapment if you don't.
Yeah.
Farazan says, he's like, well, if you don't have any other information, I guess we should look elsewhere. He looks at Tarathiel.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye out for him.
But if you do hear anything, you know where we are.
I don't.
At the Drunken Morkov.
Yes.
Until we move, I believe.
Are you moving? Are you leaving Cauldron? Oh dear.
We have a secret underground lair.
Oh, she. You're teasing me.
The orphanage doesn't have a murder basement, does it?
But she just looks shocked. Like legitimately shocked. No.
Well, but basically every other building in Cauldron does. So maybe check that out.
They're very fashionable.
Farazan looks at it. He says he's completely straight faced and serious. He says, "You wouldn't believe how many times we have walked into a closet in some small little building here in Cauldron and have ended up within the volcano itself."
I can't tell if you're joking or not. And I don't think it's funny.
Anyway, once we get the lair sorted out, we'll have to bring the kids down for a day trip. It'll be great.
Kids, it's time for lunch. Let's go. He rounds them up. They're being silly. Don't listen to them.
Alrighty.
That's funny.
So I guess once we leave, Tarathiel will say to Farazan, like, that kid is in trouble. There is no way he's just lying low. We I want to go to the Tip Tankard and see if I can set up a meeting with Art. Maybe he knows something.
do you think there would be any use in going in a different form?
Yes. Alternatively, we could send one of our guys. Sakura could set up a meeting with Arden, and we don't have to go anywhere near the place.
Well, if we know that the last laugh is there, they might be suspicious.
I'm pretty sure they're watching us anyway.
Farazan kind of looks
Actually,
around.
that's a good idea. And Tarathiel will just head off towards Skies.
Sky's Emporium?
Yeah.
Okay. You walk in, and she just beams. Ah, Farazan told you to come and see me. Oh, Farazan. The table is still holding that axe for you. The deal is still good. Tarathiel, would you care for some champagne and caviar? Farazan apparently doesn't like the niceties of life.
All right.
Happy to give those to you.
Would certainly give it a shot. Have you got a tortilla I can spread it on?
Yes?
Caviar taco.
Oh,
Especially a fish taco, right?
That's basically a fish taco. That's right. I have a plan for that too, but we'll get there.
What did you come to buy today?
You know how sometimes people use magic to find people far away?
Scrying, sure.
Have you got anything that can stop that?
Oh goodness. I know
And
that I
do you-
don't have it in I know I don't have one of those.
It's going to cost
That's-
more, Tarathiel. That's what she's trying to say.
Yes, I understand the subtlety of the situation.
Just making
Thank you,
sure.
Farazan.
He just looks at Farazan. Hush.
It's all right. He's not telling me anything I didn't already know.
There.
What would it cost to locate such an item? I understand that it might be difficult to locate an item that resists location.
See, you're smart. I don't. That won't be the issue. It's just finding an item or someone to create that item nearby. I think those usually come like an amulet, or well, it could be whatever if you can make it yourself. But yeah, amulet against being located. Honestly, not too bad. I was already going to send out a messenger to Sasserine for Farazan. I'll be happy to add that as well. Probably going to be easier to get a hold of than what Farazan was asking for, but I'll add it to the list.
At least mine is not actively trying to hide from us.
It's attached to a
No.
squirrel.
It's over there. All right. Let me know when it's in, and we'll come back and pick it up.
Will do. That'll probably be around 400 gold.
Oh, no worries. Do you need deposit?
Sure.
Well, I know you're good for it. You know I'm good for it. So
Yes, absolutely. We do have that kind of relationship.
Earnest money.
All right, and Tarathiel will lay out, just to keep things simple, I'll just give her the full amount.
Okay. You give her 400 gold?
Yep.
And you've already picked up the sending stones earlier, correct?
I have the
take
sending
that.
stones.
Off of my notage. Okay. Yes, I will send that out today. Generally, the longest time it takes is for them to message me back. Because my people have to go find the person, and generally those people that have the power or knowledge can just immediately message me instantaneously. So I'll know in a couple of days, 3 or 4 days, if there's anything close like Sasserine or any other local towns. I don't really expect Red Gorge or any of those to have it. Usually it's Sasserine. So give me a few days, and I'll let you know.
Ready? come on, Faizan, let's grab a bite. And Tarathiel wants to head to the taco vendor that is outside of Blue Crater Academy and Gelv's Locks.
All right. It is thriving. It is lunchtime because the kids are being fed right now. So the streets are a bustle with people taking their lunch breaks, going to the vendors and the kiosks and whatnot. And you're there at the fish taco stand.
Do we know this vendor? I mean, we've been here a lot, right? Like we must have.
Yeah, you're definitely on a first name basis. His name is Fievel.
Fievel.
Mouskowitz?
He never
There are
told you.
no
his last
cats in Cauldron. The streets are paved with cheese.
name. Welcome. Have a taco. 10 gold.
That's what.
Thank you.
Fievel.
And he gives
Come
you.
on now.
He
We know your tacos are not worth more than 8.
he gives you the friendly version of a heavy pour in your taco. You know, a little extra meat, a couple of extra shreds of cheese. You know. How have you
Yeah,
been?
Still alive, surprisingly, despite all my efforts.
Still got 8. How we
Still
doing
8.
there? Okay, all right. So
He's
that,
got the two
that
artificial ones, right?
I was about to say, do you have the 2 silver fingers?
I do have the 2 silver ones on.
Okay.
I just early on when doing the stream, I started just folding 2 fingers away when I
Yeah.
was playing Tarathiel,
Yeah.
and now it just happens. Now
Yeah.
just as soon
No.
as I become
I mean, it's-
Tarathiel, I just have 8 fingers. It's just
still,
automatic.
Still him, you know, but
Yeah, that's right.
yeah.
He's
yeah,
a
yeah.
method actor.
Yes,
I am.
exactly.
It's true. Fievel, how's business?
Oh, man. If you don't mind, step aside for a second. He starts tending to somebody else. Been pretty busy now that the rains have stopped. The water's gone down. It's been doing a lot better. I hear that you and your friends are. To be thanked for that. And on that note, those are on the house. Because of you, my business is doing amazingly well compared to what it has been. So, enjoy on me, just this one time.
I was considering a business proposition. We've come into some land and we're filling it with people,
Uh-huh.
and we need to feed those people.
All right. What are you talking about? What's on the table here? Will you be
Well,
able to
Tacos.
furnish as much? Will you be able to give me as many customers as I have here on the streets next to an academy?
Perhaps not as many, but more consistent. And you won't have to worry about the rain as much.
Oh, it's going to be an indoor facility?
Yep.
So, indoors, do I have to pay any kind of taxes? Because Lord Mayor's been jacking these taxes up a lot. I would actually prefer to not have to pay taxes.
To the best of my knowledge, there is no governing body in the murder basement, which is what we should just call this thing.
All in favor, say aye.
It's the hottest underground club, the murder basement.
Okay, murder basement it is.
There is no taxes, and we would just pay you a consistent rate to stay there and keep everybody fed.
Really? How much?
I know that.
How much would? How much?
I don't know. What would it take?
Uh,
How many people I mean, just as an aside, how many people are we thinking we'll have down there? I mean, I guess I'm asking us to sort of reason through this a little bit.
Yeah, I guess presumably there's at least us 4. We've got 3 NPCs currently. We now have potentially a student and a warrior guy joining us. Maybe we might have
don't
some
forget about Keegan.
parakeet.
Keegan was going to stay with you as well.
Keegan's going to
So
come down there.
We're looking at 10 to
Already up to
15
10. Yeah.
in the short run.
Yeah. Right now you can call it a dozen.
Okay, all right.
And in the time that you've been sitting here talking to him, discussing business matters, he's had 2 or 3 customers.
Yeah. And Tarathiel is willing to wildly overpay to have him there. I just have no idea what that would cost.
He likes the tacos.
Yeah, right.
It's well established that Tarathiel likes tacos.
Well,
Would he have to abandon his spot here? I mean, really, all we're asking for him to is provide a service. Maybe someone else could do it. Then that's had to be him.
Yeah, if you got a cousin or a nephew or something that you want to send down with a lunchbox every day full of, we could put in a standing order.
I could leave my kiosk here and hire somebody to run it, and then come work for you.
Yeah.
5 gold a month.
5.
Farazan leans down to Tarathiel and says, "You spend more than that here every month."
That's true. That's true. I tell you what, why don't we haggle a little bit and I'll pay you 8 gold a month, 1 for each finger.
And he just looks at you like you can tell that his offer of 5 was just a high ball that he would never expect, and just trying to get you out of his face, thinking you're kind of giving him just a rise. And he just looks at you and says, "You're gonna give me 8 gold a month to go cook you tacos."
Yeah, I'm sure we can even find you a room. You can just stay down there if you want.
He called it a murder basement, and the accent's gone.
It's just a name. Everyone in Cauldron has a murder basement, but we actually have a murder basement.
I mean, technically, it's not a basement since it is the complex. There is no lower floor to it.
Well, I don't want to
Murder's
live
completely
You know,
true.
I
Technically,
don't
there's
wanna
no
live-
murderers.
in a murder basement, a murder house, a murder castle, a murder tree house. I don't want to murder. I don't want to live in a murder place.
I guess
Okay.
it would
Well,
be
well-
a murder cavern.
That's
Well-
not better.
Well, what if we called it, I don't know, Taco Hall?
Hall of the Mountain Taco.
Yeah.
We would
Just
even
some,
we would even give you a title based on your position there. We would
Lord of
promote you
Taco.
to Earl of Sandwich. I heard another laugh, not on the stream. I got one.
All right.
The viewer.
let
Maybe
me
some kind of castle.
let me get my son, and let us come find. Let's go look at this murder basement before I say yes. Just to make sure you're not trying to serve us as food to something awful. And I'm gonna leave a note with my grandparents to go to the city guard if I'm not back by the end of the day.
Of course. I personally guarantee your safety. Just stay out of the room with the evil blender pit, and you'll be fine. It's well marked.
10 gold.
You drive a hard bargain, sold. And Tarathiel will hold out his hand to shake.
You know what's funny is murder basement's perfect because it's like you name something innocuous as dangerous as possible to make people stay away.
No one's going to come visit the murder basement.
Well,
Not
it's
for
like
tacos.
it's like the
Yeah.
House of Justice where they torture people.
Mhm.
You know, it's just the opposite idea.
We
All
need-
right,
we need
so-
to get Khaldun to create a blinking neon lights so that we can have like a blinking arrow and it just says it's in neon says cursive murder basement and it just kind of points to it. You know?
It's just like
I'll
murder
get
basement,
magic.
murder
I'll get magic
basement.
mallets out there too.
We have
Go
tacos.
back. Doom.
Yeah,
It's been such a long time.
shirts
Oh,
that say I went to the murder basement and all I got was this
That was
T-shirt.
lousy taco.
It's just a white shirt with bloodstains.
It would be great.
Alright, so
okay.
other than that, the only thing that I want to do is continue looking for patch. So I don't know what the best way is to do that from a vignette standpoint. I don't know if it's a case of this is a vignette, you're not going to find him. But Tarathiel will
mentioned-
set up a meeting with Art because he's an information broker. Yeah.
So you're going to send one. Who'd you say? One of the henchmen to go set it up.
Yeah.
All right. You send him out over the next couple of days. Again, remember this is months. This is
Yep.
the vignettes time. So you send him out over the next couple of days. Takes him a while. He finally gets back with you. Who's it? Sakura? Which one do you
Yep.
actually?
Yeah, I'll send
Sakura.
Sakura.
Sakura comes back and he's like, it took a while. They did like Art just never wanted to talk. He wouldn't see me, but finally, me just sitting there every day, he finally talked to me back in the back where he's brewing some terrible smelling beer. Um, he just wanted me to tell you to stop looking. That's all he said.
Right.
It wasn't menacing. He wasn't trying to threaten me. It was a matter of fact. Just stop looking.
Yeah, I'm not going to give up just because somebody tells me to.
I didn't think so, but that's all he talked to me about. He wouldn't say much more.
All right. So then the only other trick that I have to pull is potentially getting what's the name, Chorlander and Caliph on it.
Okay. They have been frequenting the, or they've been staying, not really frequenting. They're staying in the Drunken Morkoth where you'd been, and they actually have put themselves out there again. You can see on the board, put themselves out there as mercenaries looking for hire. Don't really want to join any kind of stupid adventuring group. And that you can kind of feel like that's.
Does it literally say that?
Yes. And you know who wrote that part? It's like one handwriting saying this, on the bottom was like, we don't want to join these stupid adventuring groups. And you have a feeling which one's, who's who. But, you've got one of the other guys, Ajar, or when they're not working with Farazan, they go out and they're doing your bidding. They're going around doing these things. And finally, a couple of days later, Thistle comes and says, hey, I got a hold of them. They're curious what you want. Said they'd meet you at the Morkoth.
All right. We'll head there, and yeah, I guess does anybody want to come with? Cool.
Where
Okay,
are you,
that's not
where are
like
you
that.
heading? I'm sorry. I was.
Going to the Drunken Morkoth to meet with the mercenaries to try and put them on Patch's case.
Yes, I will come along.
You head there. They give you a time and a date to meet, and it was basically tomorrow at like lunch or 2:00. And they're sitting there, the two of them, having dinner, and you see Nalini bouncing around, fluttering, flying around as she does. And you two walk in, and she looks at you, and she beams a big dumb smile and walks over and asks you, what can I get you? And she gets your order and bounces off. And the two of them are sitting there, and Korif, he looks at you and goes, good to see you again. And she just kind of, have a seat. What do you want to talk about?
There's a friend of mine's gone missing. He may have been in with a rough crowd. He may have been trying to get out. Just want to find out what happened to him.
Okay.
Kid's name is Patch. An eye patch.
All right.
Was an orcish kid. Worked in
That's a dumb name, she says.
well.
Okay. It's fine. Tell me a little bit more.
He worked at the Lantern Street Orphanage. He was an orphan there until he grew up, but he was in with the last laugh. And
That's when she looks up.
he made the decision not to be. And we
She
know
just-
they don't really take a joke when he holds up his hand.
This is what she takes over. She's like, that's dumb. Like you don't. He's missing. He's dead. And he looks at her. It's like, calm down. Let's just talk about this. So he worked at the orphanage, and he was what? Just kind of helping out, or was he part of the last laugh? Was he? What do you know? I mean, anything more you can tell me will help.
They paid him to keep an eye on the kids.
Okay.
He didn't know why.
All right. And then just recently, what'd you say, 4 days ago, disappeared?
4 days.
Yeah. We'll look into it. We'll look into it. That's a pretty dangerous request you're asking. You don't mess with the last laugh. They don't mess around. And she's like, yeah, that's why we shouldn't do it. Okay, all right. Just to start asking questions, 50 gold.
50.
Yeah, I mean, danger pay. We'll spend a
Tarathiel
couple of
will discreetly reach into his pouch and pull out 5 platinum pieces and just slide them across the table.
And she looks over the platinum, and he's got his hand on it. She goes, "Okay, we'll start today." And
You prove that he died, and tell me who killed him. There's a lot more of that.
okay, all right,
If he's alive, I want him.
we'll look into it. And a week or so passes, and you haven't heard from either one of them during this week. And one day, Sakuro says, "Hey, I saw on the board that they're wanting to meet with you again, just ASAP." And you meet up, and this time it's just her, and she's sitting in the Morkoth. She's not eating, she's not drinking. You walk in, and she holds up a hand, looking at you. Patch is dead, and so is my partner.
I'm terribly sorry.
Yeah.
If there's anything I can do,
Well, you could hire me.
done.
All right. Give me a couple of days. May not seem like it, but we were pretty good friends.
Well, hopefully you and I can be pretty good friends too. And Tarathiel will dig around in his pouch and pull out a cloth with a couple of finger bones that he's collected from people from the last laugh. We'll get him back. All of them.
All right.
So the disturbance of the forest, Khaldun is really looking forward to Meteor Storm.
Anything else for Tarathiel on the vignette?
No, that's it for me.
All right.
That sucks, but awesome.
So, Rachel,
Hey.
welcome back to the show. I'm so glad you're able to make it back with us. Let's have a round of applause.
Mm.
So you didn't do you weren't around for the first vignette. Do you have a pretty good idea how the vignettes go? It's just kind of a one-on-one. If you need help from somebody else, you can absolutely go talk to them.
I think so.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So let's start off easy. What has Alma been doing for the previous 2 or 3 months? Well, bring us up to
So-
speed there.
Yeah, I would say like Alma's motivations are definitely more concerned with the planet itself, the Earth, the health of the Earth, and the people on it. She's all about balance. So, the past few months she's just been helping with the water situation with the rain. She's got skills in that area, and she's been learning under Jenya. So that's kind of what she's been up to. Just kind of, she's nosy, so she's been hearing things here and there. And just working under Jenya to
So
fix the water situation.
as far as what you know literally like as if you've been watching this show. So you have all the information, right? Again, you've been in their lives. You've been around. It's just you have prioritized the city and the things like helping Jenya and cleaning up the water and basically cleaning up the town after all this goblin crap is happening and doing research with Jenya about this vampire and now this lich. So you've been training as a priestess under a high priest of St. Cuthbert.
I
And
want to
you're-
interrupt. I want to interrupt for
Sure,
a second.
sure. Yep.
Does she know Shinsen, the druid? Because they kind of have the same vibe, right? I mean, she's not a cleric of Baori, but she's a druid.
Um,
And she came
yes,
back
in
with
in
us
passing.
to. Okay, all right.
Yeah, definitely. And Shinsen, Rachel, was a druid that they met while attempting to rescue Sarkham, and
Okay.
she ended up being a follower of Farlon, which is the god of travel and a good god of the horizons and travel. And there's a group that follow and worship, or they don't necessarily have to worship Farlon, but they follow his tenets, and they're called the Striders of Farlon, and they're the ones that like keep an eye on the horizon for big evils. If you know Forgotten Realms at all, think of the Harpers. Like this is just this somewhat secretive, but everybody knows who they are. Just don't know who specifically they are.
Mhm.
They know they're out there. They know that they keep an eye and they try to keep evil from doing bad things. So, little background on who Shinsen is. She is a Drow. She's a dark elf, and you know that she's been spending time with Fario and uh, can't think of his name right now, but the two half elves that were uh, Striders of Farlon. She has kind of attached herself to them, and they are off doing their own things. It rhymes with no. Um, they're off doing their own thing, doing their own research. So just that's who Shinsen is.
Okay.
You have spent all this time. You've been keeping up with them. You know that they're back. They've just fought a lich.
Yeah, I
And,
think I just have a little bit of FOMO. Like she's like a little bit bored with uh, her duties, and I think she's kind of ready to get back into it. So she's been kind of keeping up and keeping tabs, and yeah.
all right. So is there anything on Alma's mind? And just so everybody knows, she's been leveling up with the party. She is level 7 as well. Um, going a little bit, we're going to go a little bit long, which is absolutely fine. But um, we'll talk about the level up next time. So, Alma, what you got going on in your vignette?
Yes. So I originally, I think that, almost concern would have been with Patch, and now that I have some answers there, I'm not going to really delve too deep into that because we've gotten the answers that we needed. So I think the two things that are on her mind are this like blueprint to like the rod that was once used to keep everything kind of settled in town, and then also I think she's a little like curious about um, kind of like I guess it's like the dungeon or the cavern where the goblin fight was. I think she kind
Okay.
of wanted to go back and kind of check that out.
So the schematic, the blueprint for the rod was found.
Oh, it was okay.
Yeah, that was basically where the lich was.
Okay.
So they have already brought that up, and that's what you've been assisting her using what they
Oh,
built,
I see.
and
Okay.
you helped build it. And actually, you
Okay.
helped build it with Khaldun. He assisted
Yeah, I missed
creating
that
the
part.
item. That's okay. That's all right.
Sorry.
So you actually assisted in creating this item, and you've been helping Jinya use it because they've been doing it for the past. It took about a month, round the clock, just the Church of St. Cuthbert, because none of the other churches ever got involved.
Okay.
Them using this rod, and finally, the rains have slowed down to a normal, not to a stop because it's a tropical area, but back down to normal to where it's not
Okay.
filling the lake up. And you've been helping her drain the lake. So that's been obtained. That was
Okay.
down in the murder basement. But as far as the caverns under Oryx's bath house,
Yes.
talk to me about that. What are you thinking about doing?
I don't know. I would like to go down in there and just kind of check things out because I don't think it was completely explored.
Okay.
So I want to go and look.
So again, because you know what they know, Lord Vilantru owns that building, and they looked into renting it or buying it, and it was no longer for sale. They did go, to I guess the House of Records or whatnot to find out the information, and that just leads you basically to the fact that you have to get permission or you have to break in.
break in, break in, break in.
Who would I have to get permission from?
Lord Vilantru.
And what?
Or his people. You know, you don't have to, but
Okay.
among that kind of that way.
Okay. Could I get some sort of paper that like says like she's very trustworthy and she's not gonna do anything wrong?
A
Well,
letter of recommendation.
Yes.
You have the writ of purpose, which you got in like the third or fourth episode from
Uh-huh.
the Church of St. Cuthbert, which is, I mean, like a hair away from a key to the city. It
Okay.
doesn't give you justification to do whatever you want, but which you guys haven't really needed to, but you've never used it, you know.
Yeah.
So that, along with the fact that you're Alma, opens a lot of doors. I mean, you are, as far as everybody's concerned, you're part of this group. You've been with them, like they know of you because you help with the children and you discovered Jadaroon. And as far as they're concerned, you were there when you fought the vampire and the lich and whatever the public knows about it.
Mhm.
You're a part of that group. So you are Alma of Biori, you know, this cleric that's not to be reckoned with. You know, you fought and defeated vampires and liches and all kinds of creatures. So that you've got the writ of purpose and you've got your reputation.
Okay. I'll
Um,
take that and all my charisma and go to Lord Verlantru if I can get an audience with him.
Okay. So he does have his own noble house, which is walled in with a closed gate, and he has his own personal guard. And you walk up, and first one holds his hand up. Yes, can I help you?
I would like to seek an audience with Lord Verlantru.
Do you have an appointment currently?
No.
No. Would you like to schedule one? He is a nobleman. He does have a busy schedule. It might take a couple of days for him to have an audience with you.
I don't really have time for that.
I recognize you, Lady Alma. Where will you be by the end of the day?
I will be where I always am at the Church of St. Cuthbert.
At St. Cuthbert.
Hmm.
I will go ahead and I'll ask him today. I'll ask him right now and let him know who it is. And could I ask what your purpose for speaking with him with? It may help get in.
I'll hand him 5 gold pieces and say I appreciate your discretion.
He takes the gold and he looks at it like a professional bodyguard of Jay-Z would be like, okay, you gave me $50. Understood, like it's important to you, but you don't feel like it had any sway over him whatsoever.
Okay.
But he nods. All right, I will contact you. I'll let you know what he says before the end of the day.
Okay. And I'll like emphasize like it's very important. Like give like a good like wink.
Okay. He just smiles and got it.
Okay.
And he takes off, and the other guards, you know, kind of shifts over to be more centered, and he looks at you and he says, he'll find you.
Do I get the feeling he's gonna find me?
Yeah, you do. You feel
Okay.
like he was taking it seriously.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But this second one's being pretty dismissive. It's like, you got what you want. It's time to go. But he's also trying to be very respectful.
Okay. I
So
don't
you-
know. Then I guess I go and just wait.
Okay.
If I think he's gonna come, then I think Alma would just assume that he's gonna come and just wait.
So you go back to the Church of St. Cuthbert, spend the day doing whatever Alma does during the day at a church. And just a few hours later, you're back with Jinya and you're doing some research. And Rufus walks in kind of blustering. He's, Jinya, Alma, we have a guest. Lord Vilantru just walked in the door and he's wanting to speak with you, Alma.
Okay, excellent. Let's go speak in
and-
private.
Well, Jinya stands up. Alma, you sit still. And she walks out, and Rufus walks out. And a few minutes later, Lord Vilantru walks in. Have I ever described him? I thought I described him once.
I don't
um,
remember if you want to do a
He had
recap.
Yeah.
a cane, I think.
What's that?
Oh,
There's a cane, I think. From memory, he was seated most of the time when we
Yes.
saw him last time.
Yes, he has a cane. He's obviously regally dressed, but he looks like Lord or Father of Atreyu, or let's see, Atreides, excuse me, from the 1984 Dune. You know, he's kind of smaller build, kind of frail, dark curly hair, pepper beard,
Wait,
very, very
Duke Leto Atreides.
Duke Leto Atreides from the
Yeah.
first movie, from
Yeah.
Lynch's movie. But I mean, the kind of presence when he walks in the door, you just feel it, and he just
Mhm.
looks at you and smiles. Alma, I must apologize. If I'd have known that it was you, I've told my guards to let any of you in to see me at any time. And he goes and sits down at Jinya's desk like he owns it. How can I help you?
I'll say, well, there's no apologies necessary. I think I sweetened the pot, and I really wanted to see you. I just wanted to talk to you. I'm really interested in, I'm sorry, I forget the name of the place, but
You're talking about
Oryx
Oryx
Bathhouse,
Boathouse.
not boathouse.
yes,
See?
I'm
It's
very
really
interested
easy.
in the boat. I know, sorry, in the bathhouse, and I'd like to just look at it, and I'm kind of like just curious about it.
Well, he strokes his beard. Well, unfortunately, it's not for sale or rent. I've since Orak's unfortunate demise, I've been using it as a warehouse. Um, any particular reason?
Just curiosity. I'm a curious person. I like to learn about stuff.
Curiosity.
And I smile really big, like, please.
Well, I can't emphasize how much I and many others in the city appreciate you and what what the four of you have done, what Jones has done for this town. Your curiosity makes me curious. So, will you be going alone?
Yes.
Come back. I don't have the key, but my people back at my house, back at my mansion, one of my servants will have the key ready for you. Actually, if you'd like to join me, we'll head back there now, and I can get you the key immediately.
Okay.
And you walk out, and Jinya and Rufus are over there being extremely busy doing nothing, and they both watch as you both walk out, and Jinya catches your eye, and she's like, "Okay," and like mouths that out.
I'm like,
Okay.
I'm like really like,
Double plus
like,
good. I just read that book again. It's all in my head. I can't help it.
Double plus kill.
Yeah.
What
And you head
book?
outside. 1984. Double
Oh.
plus good. All the
You speak.
Yeah, Newspeak. The Hall of Justice. When I brought up earlier. Anyway,
Oh,
so you,
Yep.
you head outside and you get one of the rickshaw kind of things because Volantre moves pretty slowly. He's very awkward. Got his cane, and you hop in the rickshaw and he looks over at you and just very casually, "How have you been?"
I've been good. I've been trying to keep myself busy, and I found a lot of happiness and fulfillment in what I've been doing. But I'm just aching for a little bit of adventure, and I just want to know. I want to know what's in there.
Adventure is definitely for the young. I know that you've been helping Jinya with cleaning out the crater, the water from the craters, the Crater Lake. I think of these things about the people that perform these duties, and I think of the four of you very often. I hold you in very high regards. I'm very fond of the four of you for what you've done. I take it personally that I feel as though you've helped me. So I'm sorry for the hesitancy I had. I'm not often to let people into my inner workings, my life, but if it will help you with whatever you're doing, you don't have to let me know. It may be something you just don't want to tell me, and I understand that. but I feel as though whatever you're doing may help the city. And by this time, you're arriving at his house.
He's definitely a beholder.
I can see it in his
Is that
eye.
number six? Is that number six? Um,
Put him on the
and
list.
he slowly gets out of the rickshaw and he looks at the puller or whatever you want to call him, the the guy. A moment, please, and he hands him a gold to have her take her back to this. Take her to this address, and he gives him an address. One moment, and one of my employees will be out with the key. And he walks and heads back to town, back up to his house. And just a minute later, not even that long at all, a man walks out who you've never seen before, and he's like resplendent, like he is just perfectly well dressed. Walks up to the rickshaw. Lord Vidlantru said this key will open Oryx's bathhouse. And he turns and walks back to the house. And the rickshaw guy goes, "We good?"
I give him a gold piece.
No. Hey, Lord Vidlantru took care of that. You save your money. Are you ready to go? As well.
Yes,
I'm sorry.
I'm ready to go.
All right.
Yeah.
And he takes off. He gushes a little bit. He's like, I'm really, really excited that you're in my rickshaw. I've heard all about you. You're really amazing. I can't wait to tell my kids that I had Alma in my rickshaw today. And he's just blathering as he goes around.
Yeah, I
And,
just like quietly look out the window because I feel really weird about that.
it's like completely awkward. Like,
Yeah.
I'm a celebrity? Why?
Yeah.
He's definitely treating you like a celebrity. And you get to the bathhouse, and he stops. Would you like me to wait?
No. I'm good, but I appreciate it.
Okay. Well, Lord Velantru just paid me a week's wage just to bring you here. So, you sure?
I mean, if you want to sit here, you can sit here. If you don't want to.
I will be here the rest of the day. Until
Okay.
you come out.
I'll see you in
All
a
right.
Go get a taco.
bit.
Yeah. yeah.
I'll be
Want a
right
taco?
back. Yeah, actually, go get a taco. I hear they're really good.
And you walk over to the boathouse, God almighty, the bathhouse, and the key fits, unlocks, and the door opens. And it's dark in here, but if I'm not mistaken, you have dark vision, right?
I do.
Yep. So I don't know if you've ever seen the map of the bathhouse because that was during a time that you were away. So let's just take a quick look at it. It
You
is-
said that Valentry was using it as a warehouse. I kind of hope it's full of boats. Just to really close the loop on that.
Yeah. It's still full of goblins stacked.
It's
Yeah,
still
there you
full
go.
of
Still
goblins.
full of
Yeah,
goblins.
that is the
Roaring
results of the fight of
It's just
against all the
corpses,
goblins.
and I'm scarred forever. It's fine.
However,
Yoska,
did
we
not-
had to murder them.
yeah,
I understand. I get where you're
I
coming from.
did not clear. This bathhouse is clear. Like it's been cleaned. It's immaculate. It's a little stale. Like there's no water down in that giant tub. That source of water was taken, and all the you just a quick glance around. There's no water anywhere. Everything's been cleaned completely. It just smells like an old building that hasn't been used in however long. And
But
you
he
look
said
back.
he'd been using it as a warehouse,
He did.
like this specific space,
Yes.
and it's not looking like it's a warehouse space.
No, right now there's nothing in it. There's just empty pools. All the doors are open.
Okay.
There's a door back, and you can look at the back. The number 5, that is basically an office, but there's a door down the farthest across, which was the entrance and where the goblins were coming from.
Okay.
So you head down there. Let's
Yes.
go back in the Wayback Machine and check out this other map. Head down into what was known as Drakthar's Way, which just so happens to be the name of the adventure. And all the stuff's still here. So I'm just putting this up there as just a reminder and give everybody an idea. You come down the stairs and it's silent. Just the echoes of your metal feet clonking on the door, on the floor. And
Mhm.
you start looking around and it's it's spotless. It has been completely cleaned out. Any sign of goblins that were ever here is gone. It's been clean. It's polished. You look around, you find the crack that kind of broke its way through, and you jump down there, and you head down to where the guys originally met, uh, Kelev and Corlindir. Look around that area. Everything is again spotless, but it's definitely more well used. Like it's not been abandoned. Um, More so that because you're on not like a natural cavern Earth, you can see footprints.
Mhm.
You know, just casual look, and not like a fight that you knew that we were having fights. Like very well used footprints going up and down this cavern, and it continues on, and you continue on to the very end, otherwise known as the third map. And as you get closer, as you continue further down, the air starts to get lighter, like you're coming to a surface, like an open air. It's not as it starts to cool off. It starts to warm up again because it's kind of cool under here. Give me a stealth check.
Oh no,
Uh
this is on purpose. Disadvantage and stuff.
You have
Um,
disadvantage.
Mm-hmm. Oh goodness me. That's gonna be a 6.
6, kind of what
Yep.
expected. So you're coming down, and
Gotcha.
this is a fairly steep angle. You're going down this, and you're in the caves, and you hear yourself walking. Like you're wearing metal armor, and you're like
Scale,
scraping
well, it's scale, but it's
scale armor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can
And
tell
you-
by the way I my walk.
Ladies, man, no time to
I have been pretty chill this entire time, so it really wouldn't surprise me that she was like,
Yeah, just kind of strutting.
Yeah.
Do, 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 do.
Nothing to see here.
And you
The confidence of the faithful.
Yes.
Oh, you guys can't see anything on this map, can you?
Nope.
All right, so you continue around, and I'm just going to open it wide open because you're checking things out.
Gasp.
And you go
That'll
down.
be good passive perception. Just throwing that out
Yes. You know what? I forgot. Thank you very much. So, you hear talking, and anybody else would be like guttural, like because it's so far away and echoing and blah blah blah. It's just you would just pick up like people are talking. You pick up specific voices. You hear many different voices, deep voices. Sometimes in a language I'm pretty sure you don't speak. Otherwise, you hear common, and you hear one voice that rings out above the rest, and nothing specific, just basically like he's telling people what to do. All right, put that over there. We're going to do drills here in a few minutes. Da, da, da. Not really drill sergeant voice, not really aggressive, but just kind of, I'm in charge. This is what we're doing. And you come around the corner
there. Oh no.
of this massive cavernous area, and you're also coming to a lighter area, right? It's getting
Mhm.
brighter. You're getting closer to an entrance, and you walk around and you see this group of half orcs and a dwarf, and they all turn, and all the half orcs, you could tell they heard you coming around the corner, and they're all geared up. Like they weren't wearing armor, but you see them going, looking for stuff, grabbing weapons, pulling, like starting to pull their armor on. And you see this dwarf walk around the corner to just face you. Yes, and he looks
Oh no.
concerned. What? Yes.
Hi, I'm Alma. What's your name?
Alma, I know who you are. My name is Zodin.
Okay, Zodin, I think I've heard of you too.
Have you? And he looks nervous, like he's starting to back up a little bit. And he looks over, and so you take now that you're here and you've taken it in, and it's well lit. There are torches, like they have, and there are beds. There are not just beddings. There are beds set up. There are crates. There are all these different. This is a, like, for better words, a barracks,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
And they're pulling on leather jerkins, and they're grabbing the weapons. But these jerkins and these weapons are, well, not the weapons, but the jerkins and their clothing. Like, one of them's already pulled a tabard on, Cauldron City Guard, and Zoden is he's holding his hand out to these guardsmen. He's like,
Uh-huh.
just put your weapons down, guys. And he's waving them to get behind him, and he's got his hands up. Lady Alma, what can we do for you?
I did not want any trouble.
We don't want trouble.
Me neither. Definitely not. I just wanted to poke around down here. My friends have been down here. Yeah, I don't want. We're good. We're good. And I'm just gonna start backing away.
You're, he's like, he mutters, like he's like, okay, all right. And you're backing away. He's just standing there, and he's like, the half orcs are like looking at each other like.
I mean, were
like,
they getting their arms together because I was there?
Yes. But as soon as Zoden went around the corner and saw who you were, he was like, he just, like, his jaw dropped, and he like, guys, just put your weapons down, like, and he holds his hands up. Like, they were going to be aggressive, and then they
Yeah.
saw you, and they stopped. Like, you stopping them, like.
Well, I kind of feel weird too.
so
I don't know what to do.
maybe I'm not impressing it. The impression you get is you're scaring the hell out of them. Like,
What?
you,
Okay.
I mean, think of it this way. These are like, you
Feel
know,
free to have any input whatsoever.
in game terms, these are like henchmen, right? These are
Yeah.
guards. They're a little bit more. They're like first, second level fighters. And he's this guy who's maybe a third level fighter or whatever.
Okay.
You're a goddess. You're a priest. You're a level 7 cleric who can, like, cast a spell and kill them all at once. Like, that's in their minds right now, because you've done it.
I have a suggestion.
Please.
I don't know if it's a good. I don't know if it's a good one.
That's
but
a great one.
You might want to mention that Lord Valantro sent you down here, just to see what happens.
Okay.
It could go horribly.
Okay.
That could be very bad. But you are in a basement under Lord Valantro's property,
Okay.
so, and he's a respected figure of the city. And if these people are pretending to be guards, or if they are guards or whatever, then
Okay. I think I know what I want to do. Okay,
Okay.
so yeah, so I will. Okay, so I'm gonna back up a little bit because it would have caught me off guard. And then I'll just say, like, what are you doing down here?
They're resting right now.
Well, they're not resting.
Well, I mean, we were going to do some drills. What would you like us to do?
Would you listen if I told you?
Yes.
What are you doing down here?
We're fine here. Everybody's fine here. How are you?
TK421. Well,
Why do they have on, like, the guards for the city? Like, they're the uniforms for the city guard. Sorry.
they're going to be the new guards.
As led by you?
I mean, I'm a lieutenant. I will become part of the city guard.
Who do you report to, specifically? First and last name?
Specifically.
Rank and serial number.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you have a badge number? I'm just kidding.
I am reporting to the guard captain.
Yeah, I want
His
to
name is...
can I interrupt
Yeah,
for just one second.
Yes.
Just to give a little bit of context.
Yes.
We have never seen a non-human guard in Cauldron, have we?
No, but one of the announcements it's been a while, so it's easy to forget. But during, sometimes like the town crier will do some BS and like talking to that. He did mention at that time that the town guard had hired their first half orc guardsman.
I
This
One.
was
Was that Pat?
also
It wasn't Patch
heard-
though.
no, not Patch, not Patch. It was just part of the announcement that a half orc guard had been hired, and this was kind of a new thing. Like, you know, considering how racist this town is, them hiring a half orc guard, and he's the only non-human.
How progressive.
So
One.
yeah, exactly one.
One.
Yeah. So it was announced that they'd hired them, but anyway, Zoden's he's very sheepish. You can tell he doesn't want to tell you, but you can tell he's also more worried about his own skin.
Hmm.
We've been smuggling him in for a long time.
He says that to me?
Captain Tercion Skellerang. That's who I report to.
He had to
Now,
look it up in his
More
notebook.
context. We've talked to him.
You have talked to him a
Yeah.
lot. You've
Yes.
spent time with him socially. He was at the.
But I wouldn't
Husband's
necessarily know him.
You
I
know,
think you would.
you have met him. You've talked to him. He was the guy that walked in. Well, that was before you joined him. You do know him because
And
again,
he's a pretty good guy.
he is the guard captain.
Are you
Oh.
sure?
depends on how you feel about guards, but yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, our interaction with him has been pretty good, though, right?
It has been very good. Yes,
And
it
he's been
has.
very supportive of us.
He's been very helpful, very supportive. All these
Yeah.
things. Yep.
I
And you know,
wanted to mention
and
as well,
Alma?
this is not the first time that we've heard the name Zoden. I'm pretty sure Zoden was working
Yes, we
with
have heard this name.
Calivan Cholander before.
Yes. And after you talked to those two at length, and they were sent down here for a purpose, and they were to facilitate something.
But they're dead.
One of them's dead.
One of them's
has,
dead.
Yeah. And the other one is the lady.
The red-haired lady?
No, that's Triel. The one in Tarathiel's vignette just now.
Oh, yeah.
Those were the two he was hiring to find out about Patch. So one of them died, and the other one's now got
Okay,
9 fingers. Yeah.
Got it.
So those were the two they met down here, and you've hired them before. They're the ones that found Keegan
Delve.
for you.
Okay.
Found him in Sasserine because it's next big town, and he was trying to set up shop. And so,
So I wouldn't
since-
have any reason to think that this would be like a weird situation, right?
well, the fact that they're smuggling half orcs into town seems
That's pretty.
well,
I
I
mean,
mean,
obviously that's odd.
sure.
but-
I know. I mean, I'm not trying to be smart, but I'm just saying, Zoden was hired for a job, and he was never stopped from doing that job. The other two were. They were captured and later befriended, to be honest, or hired, I guess, more mercenary style. Zoden apparently kept on with the mission, which was to keep pouring in these half orcs.
Okay. So I kind of get the feeling that they're going to do whatever they want to, or whatever, wherever they're chasing the money. They're going to do they're going to do the job where the money's at.
Who's they?
Like these three that we've been talking about, Zoden and then 2 others.
So these 3 were hired by the Blue Duke, which he was just a name in passing. But
We
it
don't
was
know
the-
who the Blue Duke is.
Right.
Okay.
You've heard the name just in passing, but he's the one that hired those 3 mercenaries to do the job of literally smuggling these half orcs into town. And it was slightly touched on when they came down through to find Auric, but yeah, that was basically the gist of it. The Blue Duke. Thanks, Howard. So what you're getting right now is, Zoden is this mercenary who's been hired by somebody else to do a job that he's been doing, and
Mhm.
now, like, one of the heroes of Cauldron has just walked around to his front door and said, "Hi, what are you doing?" And now he's just like,
Okay.
kind of freaking out because he thought everything was fine, like all is well. Da, da, da.
Okay. Um, I guess I'm just curious about what it's all about. Like, do you know the reasoning why this is like why you're doing the job that you're doing, or are you just doing it for the money?
I'm just for the money. They don't pay me enough to know things, just to get things done. And looking past him, you can tell just around the corner is daylight. Like the jungle is just around the corner. So this is an outlet out of the city. So it's very easy to see how they could just bring people up to the side of Cauldron into this entrance, this second murder basement, up through this crack in these tunnels, out of Oryx bathhouse into town at night, and nobody ever know it.
Right. Okay, I guess now then I'll bring up Mike's point of like what would be the reason that Lord Volantre would be so comfortable giving me the key to come down here and investigate what's going on? Like, this is his property and his building.
I've never been out of the tunnels. All I know, I've never been up for. Well, that's not true. I stayed up there with the other two. I slept up there, but I've never been up to the bathhouse. I don't know who Lord Volantre is. I'm not even from Cauldron. I was hired north of. Actually, I was hired out of Greyhawk City, but that's neither here. I don't know who these people are.
And you're okay with that?
I get paid really well to do this job, and it's an easy job.
How much?
Does it matter?
I'm just curious.
No.
Yeah, it matters how much money she's got in her pocket.
Got paid 50 gold just to sit here and babysit. No offense. It looks at the 6 who are getting angry.
Okay. How
babysit.
long, like for how long?
Months.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, he's been paid to do a job, and then essentially they forgot about him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's less than I pay my taco guy.
Really?
Really good.
There actually there may be an opportunity here.
I know, but I'm not smart enough to come up with the opportunity on my own.
I wonder if he knows where they're supposed to deliver the guards, because I mean, we could just divert them over to,
The murder base.
Casa de Murder. Yeah, I mean,
We do have a more comfortable cave that they can drill in.
yeah.
I do suppose I would ask, where's everybody going? Like, are you just funneling half-orcs into the city?
Well, they're coming from pretty far off. It takes them several days. They come in groups, and the other 6 were getting angry more at the dwarf for being kind of like mouthy towards them. They're starting to relax. Their weapons are down. Like, they're taking the armor back off. They're all from the same tribe. We've been funneling them in for months and months, taking all the warriors. When I get a dozen, when they all arrive at a dozen, we're waiting for the other 6 to show up. When I get a dozen, I send them up. I leave a note at the bathhouse, and I basically
the bathhouse that you never been to.
Well, I've been to the bathhouse.
What?
Give me an insight check.
What?
Give me an insight check.
Okay. Oh
Also remember, you have a passive insight that's out of this world. Oh, forget it. Never mind. You have a passive insight that's out of this world.
Well,
He's lying to you.
Okay.
So you ask him about the bathhouse, and he's like, "All right, I work for the captain. I was hired by the Blue Duke. When I get 12, I let the captain know. He comes and picks him up. Been doing this for 5 months.
You don't know where they go?
After that, captain takes him. I don't know what he does with them.
How many dozen?
So
And
far,
And so Alma is determined that he's lying. That is
Yes.
a lie.
absolutely. She determined that the fact that he didn't know anything going on was a lie.
Okay.
Now he's saying, all right, I know the captain. I get a dozen at a time. We send them up. After that, I don't know what happens to them. I don't think he's eating them, but I've got all this gear. I'm supposed to gear. Look, he points over to the crates. Now I haven't been restocked in forever, but I've still got enough for, I don't know, 100 more. And that's maybe a quarter of what I had. So, I don't know. 200 I've smuggled in so far.
How is
Jeepers.
that not gone? How has
That's-
that gone unnoticed?
That's a lot.
Well,
That's a lot.
think of the murder basements that we found in the
That's
past. The
right.
Malachite Fortress
Honestly.
could garrison a huge force.
Yeah.
You've literally already described the fact that every house in this entire city has a murder basement. So yeah. Like
Right.
they're next door.
And who was it that was keeping us out of Jadaroon?
The city guard.
The city guard under the order of the Lord Mayor, who gives instruction to Captain Tercion Skellerang.
This has certainly been informative.
It has indeed.
Here's
I'm
your new
just-
orders.
I know. I just want to look at it and I'm gonna say like, I don't think either of us need to talk about this conversation. Do you agree? And I'll just
Yeah.
stick my hand out like to shake my hand.
He like stumbles over himself to put his hand out. Absolutely. I won't say a word to anybody.
And you're gonna be here for like the next month or so, yeah?
6 months. 6 months.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe we'll bump into each other, and I'll give him like a little wink, and I'll be like, "I'm gonna leave now."
All right. And he's all right.
All right. I'm gonna bounce out, honestly, because
Okay.
I don't like any of that, and I just want to go tell my buds.
All right.
Literally
So you-
all of that. I'm gonna like just word vomit, like, "Oh my god."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you
When
head out and
hold your hand
I'm
out to
never
shake his
going
hand. And
out
it's just
alone
like,
again.
well,
surprise, inflict wounds, sucker.
Boom!
you walk around the
It just
corner
pops.
and you've got like the supernatural perception. You hear a collective like sigh of relief as you leave.
Okay.
And you leave and you head back to Church of St. Cuthbert. So, real quick, is there anything else you'd like to do with your vignette?
No, I'm pretty happy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Then we're going to call it because it's 2 hours and 45 minutes right now.
Yeah.
And some
I
people
felt
gotta
bad.
go-
Sorry, guys.
No, don't feel bad. I'm
Nope.
glad you're back. That was a great thing that I'm kind of surprised you like wanted to go talk about it, but yeah, you found out a lot of information, and I think you may have just like flipped the whole world on its head,
Yeah.
just by the connection with the captain. So we will end tonight. The 4 vignettes are over. I have a feeling every time we do vignettes, it's going to be a long episode, which is fantastic. I like to give you guys as much time as possible. As a quick closing, I wanted to say this earlier. Nobody's here anymore. I think it's just us. But Rocks and
it's it.
Records will be ending soon. Like, we have recorded almost, I think we have 2 more recordings to actually do before we do our live stream final episode of the podcast. So that'll be the next month. It's definitely going to be on Discord, so you should join Discord. And I'm working on doing better with Twitter. I'm definitely going to announce that on Twitter a week before we do it. We're going to try to give all the listeners enough time to where if you really want to watch it, you'll be able to like figure out if you get the time to be there. Probably going to be a weekend, probably going to be midday, so maybe it's a good time for everybody. Unless you're in Australia, then that's like at the middle of the night.
I'll be there anyway.
Yeah, well, that's why
Awesome.
So have a good night. We'll see you next Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard on Daylight Savings Time. Is this daylight or non-daylight? Daylight Savings Time.
I don't know.
I don't know either. I think I'm gonna drop that part. See you guys. For those of you stuck around, we appreciate it. Y'all have a good night.
Have a good one, and I hope this scene
Bye.
change works. Bye.